Dude, I just can't wait till we get back to 100K so that I can call my big booty Latinas back again.
You can't afford them. You can't afford them now at 60K or whatever the fuck we're at.
Well, not that I can't afford them. It's why spend the money when we should be stacking a fresh Bitcoin babies at this level, and then the Latinas will get their time when.
What, you're not buying MicroStrategy or Stretch here at these suppressed levels? This generational buy level?
I've got my strategy bags,
Oh my
but
god, get out of here. Send this guy to the insane asylum.
how are you not dipping your toes in here? I mean, come on,
Dipping
it's
my
been.
toes into what? That's like dipping my toes into fucking AIDS. I don't want AIDS. Do you?
I mean, look at Magic Johnson.
Yeah, I would
Guy's
not. You
thriving.
could pay me all the money in the world, and I would not want to be Magic Johnson. One, you got a tranny son. Two, you have AIDS. What almost 70 years old. Like, homie, you can't pay me enough
Dude,
to be Magic Johnson.
honestly, if STRC snaps back, it's going to be pretty nice for a lot of the investors that got out low. But we'll see.
What are you talking about, bro? Like, what happens in like 3 weeks when MicroStrategies is like sub
He's gonna
100?
he's gonna higher the rate to 13. It's gonna snap back because all the TradFi people want 30% dividends because that's what they do. They're a bunch of dinosaurs. They just want cash. And
No,
then
I actually think the like, just being realistically speaking and being honest, I
yeah,
think if they want to get it back to par or whatever you want to call that, um, they clearly are not in any hurry to at the moment. There's no rush, clearly, because they're not doing anything. I do not think the move would be to raise the dividend. I think, and this could be completely off basis, but just being a retard that I am, and I think the biggest um, risk or the perceived risk is the ability to continuously pay out the dividend without having to sell Bitcoin. Like, that is the worry right now. And I think raising the dividend exacerbates that and doesn't help it. Like, I don't think raising the interest rates from, what are they now, 11.5%? And raising them to 12.5%, I really do not think that gets any new buyers. I think that just sends a weakness signal out to the market, and it exacerbates the threat or fear of them having to sell Bitcoin to continuously pay these dividends. And then just the overall mechanics of the whole scheme get pulled into question. So I think if they're a sailor, I actually think raising the dividend is not the play. I think the play is, if you truly are looking at it in a long time horizon as a product, the thing is, let the free market do its thing. Um, and eventually it will get back to a par, right? It's kind of like they're honestly stuck in like what the where the Fed is right now. They can't hike and they can't cut. They're literally they're just doing nothing, right? Because there's a chance if they do either or, the market can react very negatively to it. So I don't think they're going to cut the dividend, and I don't think they're going to raise the dividend. If anything, just knowing how much hubris Saylor has, if anything, he will sell MSTR at a real negative MNAV, like a below one MNAV, and then buy stretch themselves to bid it back up, and then saying that's accretive to for shareholders for whatever, like, basically, because the MNAV that they use on their website is so not right. It's completely fugazi. Like, I think on their website it's like 1.2 or 1.2 or something like that. Realistically, the real MNAV is probably like 0.9, something around there, depending on how you calculate it. And so, if anything, they're going to do anything. They're going to sell MSTR and raise cash, either to basically just cement that they have enough cash buffer to pay it out to kind of woe the fears of them not having enough and they're going to have to sell Bitcoin, or the next level would then them be using that cash to actually buy stretch to bring it back to peg. Because realistically, if you look at the price action of stretch in the market on any given day, it's not that there's a massive amount of sellers that are selling stretch. It's that there's absolutely no buyers at the current price, right? So you could argue that if strategy goes in there and over the course of like 3 or 4 market days buys $100 million of stretch, that they could realistically bring it back to peg, right? But but right now, I think they're just fine and happy with not doing anything. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think just let it play out. But at the tool, the final tool he has is obviously to raise the divvy. But that's like,
I think that's a bad thing to do right now.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
I agree. But it's the tool in the back of everyone's mind, obviously.
Yeah, I just think everyone's thinking about it wrong. Like the dumbest people on the app are calling for him to raise a dividend, and that just tells you everything you need to know about that
That's just what
strategy.
he's done in the past, like
Well,
the
that's
past.
because there wasn't a systemic fear that this product's unsustainable.
Dude, during the last February crash, it like snapped right back
Yeah,
on
but
from
that
last time.
yeah, because this has nothing to do with a Bitcoin price crash. This is a confidence trade right now. This is
Yeah.
all it is, and there's no confidence.
Also,
There's
SATA is definitely taking a lot of the. I mean, it's definitely the better percentage right now. So it's the competition's healthy.
Well, the whole SATA thing. That's literally all insiders just buying it. Basically, it's not.
Dude, daily cash dividends. That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane, but realistically, it has even if the what's the percentage on SATA, 13% or whatever it
13.
is, like that product is even less viable long term than stretch, right? It's just that now there's no sellers of SATA because you only have insiders that are buying. The thing with stretch is that it was relatively successful and a lot of fucking retard retail bought it. And so now all the retard retail are scared and the confidence is gone and they're willing to sell it at a loss because they don't know what's going to happen with it, right? And that's just where we're at. It's been in the market longer. There's been more people to buy it, and there's more people that are selling it, and there's literally no one that's buying stretch right now.
Yeah, but you're like, why would you sell at a loss? That's just retarded.
Because they're worried. Like it's not a non-zero risk that it goes even lower. Like you could see this thing go to like 70 cents, right? Like it was like 2 weeks ago. Then I was calling for it to go sub 90, and everyone was saying you're a retard. That's not going to happen. It's going to trade back up to a peg within the next trading day or two. And look, now we're below whatever we're at, 88 or 89 cents. Like it could easily go. Like Sailors showed his cards too soon, and like he even said earlier, it's like, oh, hedge funds will bring it back to par. It's like, well,
He
at
should
what
really get rid of Strike and Strife and all the other ones and just
they
focus on
they
Stretch.
should, but you can't because you need to buy them back from the market, and they don't want to use that cash. It's like those products are basically dead weight products at this point, right? And some of them have equity kickers, some of them don't, and different conversion prices. They're all confusing, and so those products are just inevitably going to die off, and they don't have to worry about them because no one cares about them. Stretch is their iPhone moment, as retards would put it, right? So they only care about that.
Yeah, he said that a little early for sure. But it's definitely unacceptable where it's trading at right now. Something's got to happen. So we'll see.
It just goes lower. It goes lower until it finds a buyer. That's the free market, right?
I don't know. It really depends on Bitcoin again.
I don't think so. I think if Bitcoin just chops around here, I think stretch continues to to weaken. Like I think you need a full on reversal of Bitcoin to really bring it back to peg. So like
What if
that.
Sailor sold like 10 million or like 100 million of Bitcoin and then bought MSTR?
Well, according to his own statistics, that's not accretive currently because they still are pretending that MNAV is above one. So who knows? Sailor can spin any web out of his ass and lie to everyone and gaslight. But like according
That's
to
why
him,
I think he has great problems to have. Like these aren't terrible problems. Like as a company, like going into the like 2027, like with AI and everything. like running. I work for a sports technology company, and like we're pivoting so hard because of AI, and like our developers have to like learn a whole new code base with like AI and everything. It's just like
So you're in
so hard to
gambling.
run a regular company, like in general. So I think these are good problems to have.
Well, no, like I think sailors fuck the pooch in the worst way. Like, sure, these products don't have like a structural. Well, Stretch has a structural
It just
issue.
comes down to Bitcoin, dude. Like
No, but it doesn't though, because Sailor has propagated this entire financial engineering scheme on confidence. And the worst thing that Sailor's done so far.
he's just built it on. What do you mean on confidence?
What do you mean? The entire first leg of his strategy, no pun intended, is convincing retail retards to bid up MSTR above one MNAV so that then they can dilute those shareholders to buy Bitcoin and call it accretion, right? The whole
And then
that
Bitcoin goes up, and then it pulls up the shareholders
Yeah, I
again.
know. So the whole strategy is predicated on getting idiots to buy at a premium. And so the way that you do that is you go out and you have a narrative campaign. And the whole strategy has started with Sailor going, like, why do you think Sailor is basically going through the entire circuit of podcasters right now and trying to spin a web and gaslight people because he's trying to control the narrative. In my opinion,
We've never seen
Yeah.
anything like this
Well, the
before,
CAGR
Magoo.
of 30, right? He says the CAGR is 30.
well,
And
it's
that
not, but
exactly. So that's the confidence thing,
well,
It's
the biggest thing where I think Sailors went wrong in the last 2 weeks is that he didn't own up to basically saying, yes, we said in the past that we weren't going to sell any Bitcoin. But instead of doing that, he literally just started lying and gaslighting to people to say that he never said that. Oh, I
just
said
falling apart.
for you to never sell it. I never said that we would never sell it, and then cue the 14 clips that people play of him saying that exact thing. It's like people are stupid, but they're not that fucking retarded. And this is the confidence game where I think this is where Sailors made a mistake. He should have just said, "Yeah, we've changed our business model
Mhm.
from we're never going to sell to there's going to be. We've realized now that there's certain situations where it's going to be beneficial for our overall business to sell some." Just leave it at that. Don't
He just doesn't
start.
keep any transparency. He
Well,
doesn't.
well, it's not even the transparency. It's just he just gaslights and lies to people. Like that's the whole
Yeah.
thing, and that's the problem now. Is that now that it's clear as day that he's willing to lie and to gaslight people into believing or saying that he didn't say something when he clearly did. That's a decrease in overall confidence in Sailor when the
Mhm.
entire MicroStrategy's strategy is predicated off of people believing Sailor is one truthful and transparent.
I
But
haven't lost any confidence in Sailor. Like he's a net buyer of the Bitcoin, which is like
yeah, but
if
that's
you
you,
Yeah.
dude. That's
I mean, I'm
you.
a
You're
shareholder, but are you a shareholder?
no,
I don't.
not right now. It's fuck. That's AIDS. Um,
I
Right,
so
but I
unfortunately
mean,
have.
like I'm a long term.
I don't no forget me and you. Look at the market. Look at the fucking market. The market doesn't lie.
I
Stretch
mean, it says it's 100 and what, $19 right now or something.
what the I don't even know what the equity's at, but I just mean look at Stretch. It's basically in the $80 range. That is a clear signal that the market is saying that we do not trust
Market's not
Sailor to
13%.
execute.
If that's what it wants. It thinks it should. That the market's saying I need a higher percentage.
No, I don't think so. This is what I just went through. I don't think that's what the market's telling everyone right now.
Well then what was SATA? What does SATA tell you? Think that's again that's just insiders and institute.
No one. There's not anyone that owns SATA that's selling it. That's the thing, right? It's a brand new
I guess
product,
we'll find out.
basically.
I guess we'll find out. I guess you can't really. These things are so new, so it's really hard to tell
Well, that's Sailor's
what's going
that's
on.
Sailor's crutch. Like when you criticize anything to Sailor, he says, "Don't judge me on what I am right now. These are brand new products. Think about 10 or 20 years." But in the meantime, he's lying and gaslighting to everybody. Like it just you can't have it both ways. You can't eat your cake and have it too. Like the market is clearly telling you that there's a confidence issue with not just Sailor, but just the overall structure of a air quotes accretively having a Bitcoin CAGR at 30% and being able to continue to outperform, like have your collateral outperform how much dividend you have to pay out. Like the market's telling you right now that in this period of time that people don't believe that to be true, right? And I don't think it's the market being like, oh, I think you need to raise the dividend. I think the market is worried that the dividend is unsustainable. And so people are jumping ship. But this is the biggest problem is the majority holders of Stretch are retards. They're literal retail. And they called this out on the earnings call and boasting about it somehow that it's a good thing that the majority of Stretch shareholders are retail. Well, who is the most prone to fear? It's retail. And so if you're building out air quotes digital credit product and using words like bank account, risk free, carefree, stress free bank accounts for your grandma, when you use that language and it's built around a base of investors that are literally the dumbest investors in the entire earth that will be fearful in times of negativity and they'll be joyful exuberant in times of good times, like that is literally the very definition of volatility. They're going to create volatility. Now, that's not what you want with Stretch. And then if you flip it back over and what Sailor would say, oh, don't judge me on right now. This is product's only 8 months old. Just wait until it has a 4-year track record and institutional sees that it's good and they buy in and we switch the shareholders, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's great, but that's not right now, right? I'm like I've said this before. I'm actually shocked that the SEC has not hit them with a lawsuit or something because of the language that they're using around Stretch. Like they're completely misrepresenting what Stretch is. Like literally, Sailor went on a podcast yesterday or 2 days ago with like Natalie Brunel and literally was like classifying as a stress-free savings account, bank account. I'm like, what in the fucking world are we doing here? Like, you like tell people what it actually is. Like, you can't like the fundamentals of classifying it or even using the words like bank account, savings account, risk free, stress
It's about the
free.
dividend, dude. It's about the dividend.
Well, not no, it's
It's
not.
you
No,
pay the
it's
dividend.
it's
But
not
Gary
about.
Cardone has STRC.
Well, that's what they. What did I say about the dumbest people owning Stretch? Like I don't in the anybody
That's my Latina, dude.
like think about this. So the whole narrative is that Sailor says nobody or not nobody, but he says 99.9% of the world's capital does not want to be interested in an asset that is high vol. And then he says, we're going to create digital credit using this high vol asset. And then we're going to sell this as a stress free bank account to grandma on her 401k. It's like, no, grandma, if she is truly going to be invested in Stretch, she needs to understand what is backing Stretch and how it actually works. Like, so if somebody is not willing to invest in Bitcoin and understand what the trajectory potentials are for Bitcoin, you shouldn't be holding Stretch because if you buy Stretch, not even understanding what Bitcoin is, then you're literally investing in something you have no idea how it works or how it can fail or how it can succeed. And you're just a trust me, bro. Trusting Wall Street is going to give me a risk free dividend of 12%. Like, that's literally the definition of
I mean, it
retardation.
sounds exactly
Okay,
like
so
my
if
401k.
BTC runs, does the confidence start to come back?
Yeah, that
Or
it does. It does. Like if BTC runs back up to like 80K, yeah, sure it will change because then the collateral goes up, but that's not where we're currently at the moment,
yeah.
right? And like this is the whole problem of basing air quotes digital credit savings bank account asset off of a high vol asset where you have retail that hold this volatile free asset that are retarded and will sell it at a loss like and exacerbate the decline or like imagine a money market fund, like imagine a money market fund that has lost its peg and is trading at 90 cents or 88 cents on the dollar. Like, what would that mean for that money market fund? That money market fund would probably implode. And this is what he's advertising it as essentially. Like, it's just not. It's just fundamentally not that. Like, if you like, I have no problem with Stretch. I have a problem with the marketing language that they use around it. Like, it's just so greasy and dishonest that it literally should like it. You should not be able to say the things that they say about Stretch because clearly, don't even take my word for it. Look at the market. The market's telling you it's not any of those things that Sailor's telling you that it is. Like if you want to have this product that pays this, it's a preferred equity that pays a high dividend, market it as that. They're not marketing this as an equity product with a dividend kicker. They're marketing this as digital credit. It's not a credit product. They're marketing as safe. It's not safe. They're marketing it as basically bank account. It's not a fucking bank account by any stretch of the imagination. Everything that they're using to describe this product, it's just not. Like, it's literally like a lie. Right. That's it. But if you were just to market it as, hey, look, this is a preferred equity with a dividend kicker, and this is how the mechanics work, and it's all predicated off of Bitcoin being successful and maintaining a 30% CAGR indefinitely so that we can pay out this 12% dividend forever, then okay, that's fine. People can understand the risk and understand the product and decide to put their money in it, right?
That's
And
how it started.
no, it didn't. It never started as that. It started as the digital fucking credit product. From day
Where does
one,
that
it's
piece
been
come from? I
lies.
don't know. What does that mean?
What?
Digital
Digital?
credit.
Nothing. It's a made up term. Just like all their other KPIs, Bitcoin per share, Bitcoin yield, MNAB to cover, all these things are
You're
just
just
made
coming up
up.
with bullshit.
It's just
Yeah.
all made up things. Like,
It's just a way to talk to like fiat-minded people, or it's hard to describe what Bitcoin is in general. So,
not really.
Well,
I mean, dude,
yeah, that's different.
Bitcoin is extremely hard to explain to people. Like,
Oh,
and
well, yeah, I
understand
guess
you
too.
think like it's easy, but it's you talk to the normal person and
That's
you
why
can't.
orange pilling doesn't work.
Well, how did so if
I
that's
do this on the
actually
daily, dude.
if
Bitcoin
that's
does
if
not work.
that's true, then how did the Bitcoin ETFs become the most successful ETF of all time in all history? Like, if Bitcoin is so hard to explain,
STR, you could say the same thing about STRC. It's extremely successful.
no.
Yes, you can.
Oh,
No,
how can? Yeah, it's so successful. It's trading at 88 cents or
look at how much money
$88.
it's raised, dude.
How much money
It's
has it
record.
raised? How much money has it
I
raised?
don't know the numbers, but I know it's pretty damn impressive.
Not comparatively to the Bitcoin ETFs. Like,
Right. Okay. So we're talking about like a LeBron James and a Steph Curry, right? They're both amazing.
no, you're talking about Michael Jordan and then some fucking retard on the street in Chicago playing hoop. Like, that's the difference. Like, I'm not. That's not even a joke. That's true. Like, that's what it is. It's like going to
Time will
your.
tell, man.
It's like going to your Muni course and playing with a 30 handicap that can't hit a fucking
If
fairway, and then.
STRC snaps back to 99, all of this was wasted energy. So
But it's not wasted energy. You like telling people the inherent risks of a financial product in the
people should
face.
know that. If you're buying stocks in general, you should understand what you're buying, first of all. But and then
Why do you think disclosure laws are a thing? Like, this is the biggest problem. Like, I would have no problem with Stretch if Sailor wasn't out there marketing it as something that it's not.
Yeah, and the CEO, man, I don't like how he marketed it.
None of them market it. They just lie. That's the biggest
Yeah,
problem.
he said, oh, I got a mortgage. I'm not paying it off because I'm putting it in Stretch, and then I'm going to use the dividends to.
yeah.
It's down 11%, so he's breaking
Well, I'm
even.
telling you, we have to find out if this has really been flexible and it's going to snap back. We're going to find out.
No, I think it's gonna go to shit, just like Misty.
No,
And,
Misty is something different. That's a whole other piece of shit by
Yeah,
itself.
that's a different toilet.
That's another toilet bowl. But like the problem with Misty was that it was being marketed not by the promoters of Misty, but by all the fucking idiot fucking influencers
Correct.
like British Hodl and all those fucking retards telling you. They're so retarded they don't understand what a decay product is. They were marketing as like like your net capital was never going to go away when that's the design of it. And that's the same thing with the new BlackRock income Bitcoin dividend fund. Like
Oh yeah, that thing's another toilet. Holy
it's just
shit.
it's just going to decay because it's covered call options, and you start off with a pool of, I think they have a pool of IBIT shares, and they're eventually going to get called away the longer that time goes on. So at the very beginning of the product, let's say it starts off at $100, within 10 years it's going to be trading at $8, and that's normal, right? Obviously you're going to get paid dividends throughout the way. There's lots of interesting things you can do with that product with capital losses as well. So you can do some very interesting tax strategies if you have to pay capital gains. But it's a decay product. This MS or this STR product was supposed to be, well, at least it was marketed as a bank account in a money market fund where it should never lose its peg. Because now, if anyone wants to get their money out, like Saylor talks about, oh, it's going to be the most liquid digital money, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's great. If you lose 11 or 12% of your capital and you can't take it out, it's fucking pooched. Like you just lied to people. Like it's stupid. And this is the problem. This is where I think the rat wheel has gotten them, where now Bitcoin is down and people were just throwing their money into Stretch, all these retail retards thinking that, like, oh, we're in a bear market. I'm going to throw my money in Stretch and collect a dividend until I think the market is reversing. And then now that they think Bitcoin's bottoming, they're all selling Stretch to get the fuck out to buy Bitcoin. And they've lost 10%, 12% of their capital. Or now people can't sell. They're like, fuck, I can't sell my Stretch. I gotta wait and see if this thing repegs. And people are like, oh my God, like I can't sell, I can't take this loss, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a liquid product. Like when you break the buck, it's a at least from the way that they've marketed it, it's retarded, but
Yeah, we'll see.
like it might, like it will, like if Bitcoin like reverses and we're going back to new highs, like Stretch will come back, but that's not the whole point. That's not what Stretch was designed for.
I
It was
think
just
it is, I mean, it's kind of was.
no, it's no. If you pull up any fucking podcast and what they talk about, it's never supposed to lose its peg or be this far off its peg.
Right, yeah.
Now,
That was never supposed to be this far off. Like, but Bitcoin is down
yeah,
50%. There's something weird going on, that's for sure.
with what? No one wants Stretch. There's a concern. There's a concern. But like this is the thing. The whole if it's off $1 or $2 from $100, that's okay. That's whatever. But if it's off like and
It did
now
pretty good for a while. So
yeah, but if it's at 88 cents now, like oh, okay, that's a problem
it's
because
not
now
cents, $88, $88.
yes, I just like calling it cents and it's just easier, but um it's just the whole thing was designed to be a bank account. Like I don't put my money in the bank and then go back the next day and then 10% of my money's gone. Like that's the retarded part. But like I said, like if they marketed for what it was and what it is, that's one thing. But if they just like gaslight people and tell you it's something that it's not, that's a whole other thing,
I wonder if
right?
he's regretting the iPhone market or moments thing because I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
even know if that was them who said it's the iPhone. I think it was probably some stupid fucking influencer that said, "Hey, this is the iPhone moment for Bitcoin," and then now they're eating their words. But I honestly think Saylor would have been better off the last week to just be honest and be like, "Yeah, we said in the past that we weren't going to sell any Bitcoin." But now we've realized there's certain situations that selling Bitcoin could be beneficial for our company. Not going on the Bitcoin
I feel like
podcast
that
for
was known though.
no,
I
it
know, I
wasn't.
know
No,
he
it's
kept
not
saying
though. No, no, you're literally talking Sailor's book. That's what Sailor keeps saying. But then people literally pull up. There's a clip out there of Sailor saying the
he's running
exact
a
same.
public company. Like you can do anything, you know. If you,
You can't though. What do you mean he runs a public company? He can do anything. This is why there's fucking securities laws. You can't just say anything you want as a CEO of a public company and it's okay. It's not. That's the whole point why securities laws exist. And
dude, he
when
sold 32 coins and then bought 1,100.
yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is that he's gaslighting people. Like that, and this is where the confidence games come in. If he, like I said, if he just came out and said, "Yeah, we've determined now that there is opportunities where we think selling a small amount of Bitcoin actually makes sense," um, then that is that. But what he did was he pretended that that was always the case and that they never said that they would never sell their Bitcoin. And then it's like the moment where Ludnick basically told the world on a 60-minute interview that he was never friends with Jeffrey Epstein and that he seen him once and then basically was disgusted. And then like 3 months later, there's a video of him on Epstein Island. It's like, okay. It's like Sailor
Magoo, did you always think that he was suspect?
day one.
Yeah.
If anyone was a Sailor suspect from day one, it's me. Like I said from the very beginning.
Why?
Yeah,
What was it?
Magoo, you were talking about him when he was connected to the three-letter agencies back in the day, saying, "Look where he's located, his proximity to NSA." I mean,
Langley,
you've been calling this out forever.
Yeah, since day one. It's because he's just playing Wall Street games, which are whatever. Wall Street was always going to get into Bitcoin, but like lying to people and like gaslighting people, that's where you get off the bandwagon. Even if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you like Bitcoin, like you can't just like let people slide with things that you don't think are right. Like if I was just a Bitcoin fanboy, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Sailor's products are great. Buy everything. It's no problem. Pump my bags." But
It's not
that's
morally
not the
correct.
case.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. 21 million. 21 million. 21 million.
21 million exactly. 21 million. 21 million. Exactly.
Damn. I have like a 2K little MSTR that I've been wanting to sell, but I'm down 50% on it, and I'm like, it's nothing, but I'm like, oh, I just want Bitcoin to pump one more time and just dump that little
Bro, bro. Like
MSTR.
MSTR dog, you're down bad, bro. I don't know what to tell
Bad.
you.
Yo, just put it in
Bad.
Bitcoin and forget about it, man.
Right?
All the fucking stress will
Oh, I
leave you.
know.
I'm telling you, it will.
Yeah,
All.
let me check. I haven't even looked at MSTR in the last
I
week.
thought that I was smart, man. I
Okay,
thought
it's
that I was
one
smart.
2018 or something.
it's 116 and probably go well.
Nasty, man. It's
I
ugly.
don't I don't want to say it's going lower, but just looking at the chart, like if it does break this 115 level and head lower, like it's heading sub 100 guaranteed.
Yeah. I like
Okay, yeah.
But
Same.
I guess it all depends on really at this stage. Like I don't like
Wary, right? You could say.
it's not gonna go material lower unless Bitcoin does. Um, and
Amplified Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know.
I love saying those terms. They just piss off. Okay.
yeah, because that's Sailor's like literal fucking
Yeah.
like playbook.
Yeah.
It's not even amplified Bitcoin. Like if that's
But
what
initially it was supposed to be.
well
That's the problem.
this is the whole
That's
point
what
of
fucking brought in all
retards.
the retards.
This is
I
what I'm
know.
telling you. You fucking retards
But
believed it
usually,
all.
yeah.
Amplified. This is just leverage. If you want leverage Bitcoin exposure, just buy fucking strategy, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, and you know
Yeah.
what? And
No,
it's
I'm so
mostly
thankful I didn't buy more. I'm so thankful. I was just like,
I mean, Bitcoin is
fuck
down
that.
55%. MSTR is down 70.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's like
It's nasty.
80% at this point or whatever,
But I had to be
78%.
taught. I had to learn that lesson. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you got whipped, boy. You got whipped.
My little girl.
It could be worse. You could be holding other strategy or other treasury companies like Nakamoto's down 99 point like 7%.
Hey, David
Yeah, but
Bailey needs to
MSTR is
fight
way
you,
more
man.
fun
That's
to
the
hold
next
because you can
live
sell
stream.
calls and just do
Magoo
fun
versus
options.
David Bailey.
Yeah,
Magoo
it's pretty
versus
bad.
David
I couldn't imagine being down 99.7%. There's no
How does
coming.
he wake up? How do you think he feels when he wakes up?
Bro, the thing with scammers is that they wake up fine. That's the thing. They have no conscience. They think
Well, he's a demon,
they
man.
think that they've never done anything wrong and
That's crazy.
everything was bad done to them.
That's crazy.
And like you're kind of fucked because like they can't even like I don't even like being
They're
down
demons, bro. That's what it comes down to. They're
that
demons.
stock's never gonna hit an all-time high again ever. Like, and this is like not even like a controversy thing to say. That
Yeah.
stock is never getting back to its highs, like
Who still
ever.
has it? Who still has some?
I don't know, retards? Question mark. It's probably
Who?
all
Those are like the
insiders.
retards of retards. No, I mean, who has
Retards.
who has it?
Magoo, where are you from?
Yeah, nice try. You sound like a fucking Fed, J Lo.
No, are you from like America or are you from?
I'm from Guatemala.
All right.
All of the koala.
Yeah, I'm in fucking Guatemala today, Nicaragua tomorrow, Honduras on Saturday, Bogota on Sunday. I'm in fucking Lima on fucking Monday. Then I'm in Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday. Then I'm in fucking Chile on Wednesday. And then your mama's pussy on Thursday.
That's nasty.
Yeah, very, very nice. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not in the Estados Unidos.
Hey, so what's the latest? Catch me up. I haven't been able to keep up with really anything with
Okay,
the
here's the
war.
latest. Here's the latest. One,
Magoo,
you're retarded.
please.
Two, J Lo's even more retarded than you are for a fucking home
All right.
stretch.
Okay, at least.
I don't have
Eh.
stretch. I have strategy.
Oh
Yeah, I have strategy.
wow,
I have strategy.
Cost basis is about
$400,
212,
bro.
Well,
212. Oh, I guess
and
you were in profit a week ago until it crashed.
I probably have like almost 2,000 shares. So it's
Oh,
not a joke.
2,000. Oh man.
damn, you went
And
deep on
it's
that.
probably going to go a lot
Deep.
higher. So
You're not a Bitcoin maxi, man.
Did you own any Bitcoin?
I keep it in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Like I did my shitcoinery.
Do you
MSCI
own any
shit.
Bitcoin though? Like actual Bitcoin?
Yes, yes, of course. I have my stack, so like I'm just fucking around with fiat shit. Like as a Bitcoiner, you can't do anything except stare at your fucking coin.
No, you
So
That's
can't.
the
You can
point.
live in it. Haven't you listened to American HODL? You can live in your
I almost
Bitcoin.
dropped mine off a boat once, but I saved it. So after that, I've just been messing around with stocks.
Well, apparently, if you live in Illinois now, you can't even transfer your Bitcoin without getting taxed.
Talk about a retard state.
Crazy.
Oh man, that's that. I don't know how that bill. Like, first of all, like you're so cucked if you have like Bitcoin at an exchange. Like you're so done in Illinois. I don't. I really don't know how like practical it is for them to ever be able to like enforce that. It's so hard. One, self-hosted wallets. You're never ever being able to collect. But then people who have any money on like Coinbase or any exchange, you could be guaranteed that all that money's being epicact evacuated out of those exchanges into self custody right now, and they're never going to be able to collect those taxes. Right? This is probably something that's going to be overturned in like whatever, but it's kind of hilarious.
Did a
But
blind man make that law? Where did that come from?
it came from some really fat billionaire leftist who thought it was a good idea to do it. Like like realistically, even if it like you were like a socialist and like you wanted to like procure money for the government, like this is the most inefficient way to do it. Like even if you wanted to make money and take money from people who use and hold cryptocurrency, like you would pick something that's actually enforceable, that you could actually reasonably collect money off of it, right? Not oh, we're going to charge you 0.2% on every move from wallet to wallet. It's like okay, like it's so retarded where I almost think that it's kind of more of a dog whistle than like something that's realistically practical. Like they can't like I don't know. Politicians are pretty dumb, but
It's
like
like saying 2% on like cash transactions in person. Like I don't even know.
no, it's not cash. It's just crypto. This is
Oh,
what I
I
mean.
know, but like, how are you even like? How are you supposed to track any of that? Do you just
You
like?
don't. You don't. That's the problem. Like you, maybe you could try to enforce it at the custodian or exchange level for to give them like all your internal wallet transfers. Maybe I just hardly see that. I hardly see that. What you're probably going to see is you're probably going to see like an executive order come over the table next week from Trump, basically saying that no state can do this or something stupid. But like to me, like politicians are pretty dumb, but I think this is beyond stupid to where I think it's more of a dog whistle than anything. Because if they truly wanted to collect any type of taxation through crypto ownership, if you will, they would have done it 80 different ways to realistically be more enforceable than, oh, we're going to charge you every time you move it. It's like what, like
I think
question
they just
mark.
wanted to get rid of anyone with any brain cells from their city and just leave a bunch of retards.
Well, they're doing a good job already, but I yeah, that was kind of funny. And everyone's like losing their shit because it's like such an authoritarian like law for crypto specifically, right? It's like okay.
Yeah, but
What?
What about this, man? Trump is saying, like, he's always keeps saying, "Oh, we're gonna lead crypto. We're the crypto capital of the world." Blah blah blah. When are we gonna get 0% on crypto? You got El Salvador, Dubai, Puerto Rico.
Let you in on a little secret here. Never. I think that like if you truly believe that like if you think you're going to get no cap gains on crypto in the United States, like I think you're smoking some ayahuasca. Like it's just never going to happen. And I even think like the people that are really pushing for de minimis tax exemption from like 500 or whatever it is dollar transactions, I think you're equally smoking a crack pipe with Joe Biden and his son. Like I just see them never passing that because there's so many ways that you could game de minimis tax exemptions where like if you have like theoretically millions and millions of Bitcoin, like you can set up some fucking scheme to basically make it so you can get rid of your coin without paying taxes. Like imagine like ordering Uber Eats like 4 times a day using Bitcoin. Like you could literally just live off your Bitcoin tax free. Like you could go to Whole Foods like every day and live like a king and not pay any cap gains on it, right? Um, or you could be like, hey, I want to buy this yacht, but can we do it in 4,000 microtransactions? Like I'm not even joking. Like you could create some fucking scheme of being like, yeah, I'm buying this yacht, but can you invoice me 14,000 times for $499 each
How do
time?
you fill that order? How do you
You it's easy. It's easy. I can create an invoicing system for yachts.com and it'll send you 14,000 invoices and then I'll create a payment system to where I'll send 14,000 payments over Lightning of Bitcoin or something. Like and then the law comes like, "Hey, where's your tax for this?" Like, "Oh no, here's my 14,000 invoices." And like as per the law, they'll be like, "Oh shit, this is I can't
This is
go after
legit.
them, right?" Like
This is
that's why
legit.
I just don't see de minimis tax exemptions happening for crypto transactions. As much as it would be great, I just don't think it's realistic.
Hyper Bitcoinization, just a myth.
Yeah, we got Mikey Alfred in the audience. You can bring him up.
Sorry, I was telling my dog to shut the fuck up. Yeah, so I think it's kind of comical with what's happening with Sailor right now, but everything will be fine, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Just let
Um,
them know.
and
All right,
then
we go roll another one
It'll be
and
over at
take out my
some point.
dog.
It'll
Goodbye,
be over
Magoo.
at some
Appreciate it.
point.
goodbye. And then okay, literally what was I gonna say? You know, I literally told people like I think yesterday or 2 days ago when the price of SpaceX was like 225, 230. I told everyone that I was like shorting it, and then like I literally tweeted out today that I covered my short, and then like what's his name? That Joshman guy who called for 440K. He's like he literally just tweeted and like blocked me and said like that I'm full of shit, even though like I literally was like live talking in a space like making those positions. It's kind of funny.
He called you out on it and then blocked you.
Why is everyone so fragile?
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me out. Like he literally called me out and saying I'm full of shit that I didn't short SpaceX, and then blocked me, so I couldn't even post a screenshot of showing my trade. I'm like, what?
This guy's crazy.
I know.
Everyone's losing their shit in the bear market. That's what's happening.
No, and it wasn't even that good of a trade. Like I'm like, how are you calling me out on this? Like, first of
He
all,
called
I'm
4
like,
4. He called it, man.
yeah, I know. I'm still waiting for that 444K or whatever it is.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Nah, but I did hear you. I did hear you call that when you opened up that position. I did see that.
Yeah, like literally, like I think I don't know if I was in a space, but literally, I think
You said it.
I tweeted it like literally as I did it, and these retards think that you can only short SpaceX while the
Wait.
market's open is kind of funny.
Yeah,
So
shorted
he followed you
base.
before?
What?
Did he follow you before he blocked you?
No, he literally just like tweeted,
Random?
called me out, and then blocked me. So I couldn't even respond to him.
I'm quick. He
Yeah,
got you, bro. You
he's a
got
little
body.
he's a little fucking scammer, bro. It makes no sense. Like out of all the things to call me out on, he's gonna call me out on making like whatever it was, like basically like a 50% trade on shorting SpaceX. It's like, really? Like you're gonna call me out and say I didn't make a little cheddar on that?
Hey, but had you already been busting him up for his calls?
No, I
No shit.
haven't
What the
busted.
heck? So then what the?
Oh, something triggered
Where the
him.
fuck did he come
He
from?
must be down bad on some trade or something.
It's got to be SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah.
That's the only thing. Like that's the only thing I can think of is like, why is he
He's a
commenting?
bot. He's a bot. He's a bot, bro.
I know. Like literally, like I literally even retweeted where I said I shorted it. I literally 2 days ago, I'm like, okay, I shorted it at 227. And then basically at 3 or 4 hours ago, I closed it at 189 and I tweeted it. And then he literally said that he not only did he say I didn't do it, he said that that's physically impossible for me to got those prices. Like that's the retarded part. And I'm
What
like,
did you go through to place those prices?
because he just went, he's a, listen, okay,
No, but what did you go through to?
I did it on Coinbase.
So it didn't take. You didn't need to be a brain surgeon.
No, you don't need a brain surgeon. And he's a boomer. He thinks you can only buy and sell SpaceX on the open market of like the NASDAQ. Like during 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Like he's such a fucking boomer. He pulls up the NASDAQ chart and says, how did Magoo short it at 227 on this day when it wasn't even open nor at the price? I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking idiot. I'm like, dude, you know that perpetuals are open 24/7, dog, right?
Wow.
This is what I would tweet. This is what I'm trying to tell him, but he blocked me as soon as he.
Yeah, what do you want me to tell him? I'll tell him.
Tell him that he's a fucking idiot, fucking boomer.
Ah. Yeah, all right. I'll send you a screenshot.
Yeah, tell him he's a little fucking idiot.
Oh, shit. Where is he at? He's gonna block me too, man.
Good. Such a fucking boomer, bro. He
He's a
literally.
legend.
No, he's not a
Call him
legend.
back.
He's a fucking idiot.
Hey, you got bodied, bro.
Not even. It would be.
He blocked you quick.
Bro, if
He
he
didn't
bought,
respond.
if I got body, it would be true if I was like completely like fucking like faking this. But like, I wanted to like post screenshots of the trade, dude. Like, I'm not making this shit up.
He called you out, man.
I know, and the worst thing is, he called me out on the dumbest thing. Like this is like he literally pulled up a NASDAQ chart and tried to make it seem that like you could only trade SpaceX while the market's open. He's like, oh, Magoo couldn't have got it for 227 because it was at
Scammer.
faking
gay. Faking gay.
yeah,
Bad.
faking gay, bro. I'm like, this guy's a real fucking boomer. Like, has he ever heard of like hyper or like Hyperledger or fucking like all these different places you can buy and sell perps or all these equities after hours? Like what are we doing here, dude? This is the age. This is a 21st century, dog.
Well, the shit he posts whenever he posts his wins, it's like some bullshit platform and no one even knows what he's using.
No, it's like Excel spreadsheet.
Dude, that's what I've been fucking saying. That's what I've been fucking saying when I saw that shit. I was like, this looks like Excel. This dude's just making shit up.
Yeah, I know. It's what's fucking retarded. Like,
Damn.
Yo, everybody add him in the chat. I just added him.
Did you?
Yeah, I said get in here. Everybody just go at him. Go.
Can you join?
yeah, everyone at this fucking
Boomer.
Josh man,
Oh,
fucking boomer.
Bully the boomer, man. Crazy.
Yeah, fuck. These fucking boomers, I tell you.
Yeah. Where are they at now in age? I'm not 100% familiar with that.
boomers?
I think the youngest boomer is born in 50. I don't know if it's 59 or I think anywhere from 59 to 61. I think is like the real
Like low.
the youngest boomers. The oldest boomers are 45, right? So you could be realistically anywhere at this age, like pretty much like 65, 63, 64, 65, all the way up to like fucking like almost like 80 at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Some of the oldest fucking boomers.
62 to 80 is the boomer.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it's a fucking big range of fucking retards. So
Yeah, that's 18 years.
Demented. They're demented.
yeah.
No, but a lot of them are supposed to hit the the medical system because there's so many of them.
Oh yeah, the United States has over like 60 trillion. Like this sounds like retarded, but this is go Google it. The U.S. has like 60 trillion of unfunded liabilities for Medicaid and Medicare over the next like 60 years. Like that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
They have to create 60 trillion dollars to basically pay for the boomers to die. Like legit.
Yeah, they said
Like that's what it is.
they said Social Security's bankrupt in 6 years.
Oh, it definitely will be.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so don't buy into that. Josh Man's definitely in bed. Like this old boomer has like prostate problems. Like he's probably trying to take a piss, squeeze
I'm
some
kidding.
fucking water out of a stone right now in his fucking bathroom. His toilet probably has the rug on it. You know your grandma used to have the toilet with the
Shower chair,
carpet,
bro.
the
Yeah.
carpet on the toilet.
Yeah, and the back part too.
Yeah, the back part is all furry. It's a furry. It's like the wooden toilet seat with like the fur on the back.
Hey, but it
That's what
feels
it's got.
good.
Yeah, I
But it feels
bet.
good.
Yeah, bro.
You're
Right.
over on the cold shit.
No, bro. I got one of them Japanese toilets, bro. It's fucking squirting warm water on my boot hole.
Terrible, man.
It's so fucking bad, bro. Yeah, getting a little water squirted on your butt. Yeah, it's
Nah,
can't
being
get
Josh
any gayer than that.
Mandel. Being Josh Mandel is gayer.
Oh, for sure, definitely. He's fucking trying to squeeze that prostate of his at the moment. Let me.
Can
I will say though the SpaceX short that I did have, I did almost top wick the Coinbase. Let me look what the exact top was. The exact top on Coinbase perps was. Let me get down to a 30-minute chart here. It was about 228 and 50 cents was like the top. And liquidity was as thin as a nun's cunt hair. And so I was literally just taking up all the short side liquidity I can on Coinbase perps. It's not there's not that much. So I think my overall position was something between I think it was like $44,000. Like it wasn't a big short position because one, because the liquidity was super thin, and I was buying short lots from anywhere from basically 220 up to my highest lot was 227 and some change. And so I was only able to get basically, I think it was like a $44,000 position because I didn't want to bid it back down the other way. Like I didn't want to chase it as after it started correcting, get a bigger position. So on the whole trade, I think I made something like $7,000 or something. Like it's not a fucking huge fucking trade. Like it's not like some fucking like oh no way, man, you could have never made that trade.
But you're a scammer, bro.
Bro, I'm a
Hey,
scammer, bro.
so I just have here Josh Mandel. You're gay, bro. Is what I'm gonna say.
You're gay, bro. You're gay, bro.
Damn, Josh Mandel getting bullied. Sad.
Yeah, what a bitch, eh? Fuck. Well, when you call for 444K and it's at 60K, bro, I don't know, dog. That's pretty bad, dog. Like, if anyone called the Bitcoin top, like, it's got to be me. Like, I don't want to like toot my own horn or anything, but like, I got the closest, that's for sure. Uh, I mean, it, every year, or not every year, every cycle, you have the same fucking idiots calling for retarded numbers, and they just never happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're crying that your little strategy bags aren't higher.
I'm in pain, bro. I'm in pain. I can't eat this week. Might not be able to keep the lights on.
You gotta eat them ramen noodles,
Yeah.
bro. Let's see here. Just looking. I haven't even looked at the Bitcoin price in like a hot minute. 64,000. Looks like it dropped a little bit from the Fed's.
Dude, it doesn't move. It doesn't move. Why? It just doesn't move. It's
What do you
like,
mean it doesn't move? It moved a lot today, didn't it?
did it?
Yeah, it was up a bit, and then it went down after the Fed
You know, I'm
decided.
so used to like the 58 to. It's just been there forever. Like in this range, it just feels like eternal. This is a purgatory.
Well, it literally got down to this level. June or I'm retarded. Let's see here. It literally was at this level in February, so it's been like basically like 6 months of purgatory.
Yeah, bro.
Bro. The worst part is that like Bitcoin's been in purgatory and
And everything else is fucking in heaven.
AI is in heaven, bro.
Dude, I used to work with this guy.
Literally in March.
Guy.
No, literally in March, I pull the retard max and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy an AI portfolio, being like, okay, I'm retarded and I'm so late to this trade, like I'm gonna lose money for sure. And I made like literally 80% in 3 months, and I'm like, wow, like this is retarded. Me while Bitcoin does absolutely nothing.
It's a simulation cheat code, retard max.
I know.
No, but I used to work with this guy. Fucking always like, man, you gotta be diversified. You gotta be diversified. Had all this fucking shit he didn't even know about, all these shitty crypto tokens, all these unknown equities. But I'm sure he's smoking me right now. I'm sure he's smoking me.
Yeah, I said this a couple of days ago. I said like retard maxing has made people so much money in the last year. It's hilarious.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But like, have you ever played fantasy football?
No, I'm not gay.
But it's just luck based.
Is it though? You gotta
What's
fucking know something about football. I can't just go in there and start picking names out of a
You'd be
hat.
surprised. You'd be surprised. Like just based on how things play out, injuries and.
I've played fantasy, but not football. But
what's fantasy?
You said fantasy football, didn't you?
Yeah, but then you said you played fantasy, but not fantasy football.
Yeah, like other sports, you fucking retard. What do you think I'm talking about?
What other sports?
What do you think I'm talking about? Final Fantasy 7 for PlayStation 1?
That's like, oh shit, I don't know the games like that. That game at least.
No, I played just NHL.
Oh, I
Fantasy
had
hockey.
a friend that did really well. Like back when they had the teams, like almost like the. Are you familiar with the pro club team structure in FIFA?
Yeah.
They have that something like that in NHL, right? Or they did.
No.
No.
It's
Back in the day,
different.
they did a little bit.
What do you mean the pro? What do you mean they've never had anything like that in the NHL.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Years ago.
Well, how many were we talking? 1960s when the Hartford Whalers were playing?
No, they weren't playing video games back then, bro.
Yeah, they were.
No. The reason why I say that is because I had a friend that, he used to hop on with a few other guys and they would take on other people and they
That
were
sounded
ranked
gay.
I mean, it's NHL.
Yo,
Right?
I used to know a guy who used to like get up with a couple guys and hop on and like do some other guys.
Fucking Magoo, man.
Bro, you're saying this shit, not me.
Yo, Magoo, can I jump in here?
Yeah, what do you want, fanboy?
What's up, bro? Oh, definitely a fan of you, bro. I just recently discovered you like this week.
Yeah, this is retard maxing 101.
All right, so real quick, I noticed that Tom Lee follows you.
Oh yeah, Mr. Funstrat.
Yeah, Mr. Funstrat. So I was wondering, putting all your, I don't know if you're friends with him or anything like that, but
No, I make fun of him. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. So what do you think about the BMNR bag holders?
They're fucking wrecked. Like I don't. What do you want me to say? That like Ethereum's going to 10,000 and everything's going to Valhalla? Like, or Tom Lee bought the top, bro. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't. Ethereum's an interesting one. Like I've never met a more emotionally charged community of femboys
Nemo knows, dude.
outside of the gay community other than ETH holders. Like
Uh huh.
it's like literally they get on like death's doorstep of like narratives. Like right now the narrative is like, oh my god, they've like ruined it, everything. Like even that little femboy from Bankless like apparently sold his Ethereum or whatever. And like I kid you not, like not even like whatever it was. Remember in August, like literally a year ago, like 10 months ago, people were talking about $10,000 Ethereum, right? And
Hmm.
literally nothing. Nothing fundamental has changed when ETH was 5,000 and they were calling for 10,000, and now it's what is it? I don't even know. 1730. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the price, and now they're in like this desperate depression death spiral where they're like, "Oh my god, everything's bad. It's never going to recover." All these different things. It's like
Who do you think? Who do you think's rug pulling on them? Do you think it's Tom Lee rug pulling on them?
no, it's all the fucking like this is the biggest thing
Let
that
it
Bitcoiners
hash.
that talk about Ethereum is that the ICO was an inside job, and there was such poor distribution with Ethereum when it first came out. Like the Ethereum Foundation and all the insiders got so much of the Ethereum that they literally are still dumping on people today. So everyone who's been buying Ethereum for the last like almost 10 years now has been exit liquidity for the initial ICO holders, right? And so
Hmm.
there's so many people that have Ethereum to dump on people, and they don't care if the price is 5,000 or 1,000 because they got it for like $10
So why did Tom Lee's dumbass get in on this? Like he
because
had
he's seen Sailor as a smart guy and said, if Sailor can do this with Bitcoin, I can do this with Ethereum.
so fucking retarded.
And honestly, I actually think long term that Tom Lee has a better chance of pulling it off because uh, there's native yield within Ethereum to where you can actually like make native money just holding the bag, where Sailor cannot do that. Like unless you think Ethereum's going to zero, then they're all fucked, right? Um,
Hmm.
and I'm not super bullish on Ethereum. Like I think a lot of it is hocus pocus, pretend decentralization, and pretend that tokens are needed, and all the fake tokenomics around all the things that use Ethereum base layer, et cetera, et cetera. But like the fundamental fact that you can gain a yield off of just staking your bag, and Tom Lee can get whatever it is 3% just holding the bag is a lot more bullish than Sailor paying a dividend of 12% and having no way of actually making money, which is kind of funny. Um,
He
but
gets 0%.
yeah, Sailor makes no money, bro. Like this is the funniest part. Like all his products make no money.
Well, he has to sell Bitcoin in order to pay that yield.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Shit ton.
So his whole strategy is like, well, if Bitcoin has a CAGR of 30%, I can pay a dividend of 12% and still make out the winner, even though
Why did this dumbass sell 32 Bitcoins?
I think
And then a week later, I guess he bought $100 million of Bitcoin.
so. I bet it was one. I think it was a signal. I went over this the other day. I think I don't view the sale of the 32 Bitcoin as a single event. I kind of put it in with them using the cash buffer for Stretch to buy back their debt, and the selling of the 32 Bitcoin are part of the same sphere of events. And what I think they're trying to do is they're trying to get a better credit rating from the credit rating agencies.
Mm.
And I think they want one, they're getting rid of their debt, right? So that's why they bought back their debt, and showing the credit rating agencies that they are in fact willing to sell Bitcoin will basically look good on their side. That look, oh, they have this much collateral and they're showing that they can actually sell it. and raise
Interesting.
money. So that's what I think it's all about. I think it's
So he's trying to create like a real narrative for himself.
well, yeah, he's trying to create the narrative, but more so with the credit rating agencies to get a better rating of credit for strategies, right? Even though that wouldn't, I don't think, would be a direct credit rating on the Stretch product, because Stretch, guess what? It's not a credit product, it's an equity product. But if they can get a better credit rating for the company as a whole, I think plays into their hands a lot better. So that's what I think they did and why they did that. They didn't just sell the 32 Bitcoin to do a tax loss harvest. Like that's not why they sold it. I think they sold it to prove a point to the market. Is what my theory is.
And then he goes on TV and he says, "Oh, you're not supposed
I
to
think
sell your Bitcoin, but we as a company are allowed to sell our Bitcoin. We're supposed to."
Yeah, that's
I think I think that's a nice business strategy. They're trying to come
you
up with.
are you
Yeah.
listening from Tehran, Alex?
I'm listening from
Oh,
Nigeria.
okay. Okay, Nigeria. I can hear the fucking crickets going on. Got some locusts flying through there, some shit. Um,
Yo, Magoo. You can't be having these spaces so late, bro.
bro, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
It's fucked up, man.
I can have these spaces whatever I want. I'm not gonna record them. I'm not a fucking influencer. I'm not trying
Aaron's
to.
a MSTR bag holder. That's why he doesn't want you talking about this.
No, there was another guy who came in earlier who was such a MSTR
Yeah,
bag
yeah.
holder that he
That's
was like
like you,
literally
bro.
he was
It's
spitting
like great
he was
opportunity to
yo
buy.
he was spitting the sailor talking points. It was kind of
Yeah.
funny.
He bought it at the top, 450.
Who knows, man? He knows. He said his cost basis was 220 something, but
Like
who knows?
ton of shares or something.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
Magoo, well, I appreciate you, man. You have a good night. You guys take care.
sleep tight, Aaron.
Thank you, brother.
Magoo, how's your shoulder? Are you recovering?
Oh baby, I'm on every steroid on the planet. We getting out there. It's doing good actually. Better than I suspected. Modern medicine, let's just call it, has helped me dramatically in my old age to recover. I am now able to basically use my arm at will and do anything. And I actually played my first round of golf this past weekend since the surgery. So not a fully.
Did you have like a replacement or was it separated? What was your issue?
I had a torn labrum, a posterior labrum tear, which is for the layman, it's not the rotator cuff, it's the tendon attached to the bicep that wraps around the back of your shoulder and attaches to basically the clavicle or like the scapula of the back of your shoulder. That ruptured and tore. And so they needed to go in and basically fix it. And the way that they fix it is they suture it back to the bone, but the way that they suture it to the bone is they have to drill into your bone, basically put these little metal screws and then wrap the tendon around them and then sew the tendon back in basically. And so I had basically four incisions, two on my front of my shoulder and then two on my back. So I think there's like four stitches in each one. So I think I had like 16 stitches in total on all the incisions. Um,
So you got like a few months of rehabbing, I guess.
yeah, I had the surgery mid March and now it's April, May, June. So it's been 3 months now since I had the surgery. And I'm, by all accords, I'm definitely ahead of schedule in terms of my recovery. Like if you told a shoulder surgery that or a surgeon that like, can I play golf within 12 weeks of my surgery? They would laugh in your face. Um, and maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I have been pretty diligent with my protocol. Literally went to a PT twice a week, did physical therapy on it every single day, was taking the nines of supplementation and also peptides and some cocktails. to help the recovery and the healing. And so it's been really good actually. It's healed pretty goddamn fast.
Nice. It's funny, I actually fractured my pelvis around the same time frame, so I'm in a 3-month recovery too.
Ouchie, how did you manage
Yeah,
that?
I fell skiing.
Ooh, when did
Yeah,
you
brutal.
you might have been skiing the same time I was. So I did a dumb, not a dumb move, but I knew I was getting my surgery mid March, and so I went and did a ski trip the week before my surgery. Because I knew I wouldn't be able to do anything for the longest time. So I said it's already tore. And I did some pre rehab before surgery. So it was like I could use it. It wasn't like a dangling twig. So I went skiing, but luckily I didn't break my pelvis. Ouchie.
Yeah, no, it was fucked. But anyway, whatever.
Where did
So
you?
let's go back to Bitcoin.
I want to know what hill. What hill did you do it on?
I was in Whistler.
Ooh, nice. I was not too far away from there actually when I my ski trip. I was in Banff in I get what
It's a
it was
beautiful part of the world.
end of end of February. I guess yeah. So it was end of February going into March that I was at Lake Louise and Sunshine.
Yeah,
Um,
it's great there.
no, it is. It's super nice. And luckily, we got good snow. It's so funny with skiing. Like sometimes you just get shit fucking weather.
Well, that was it. It was a bad season there,
Yeah,
generally,
yeah.
So
BC had really shitty snow this year.
totally shitty.
Yeah. So you were
Totally
trying to
shitty.
carve on some ice and fucking bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I've skied for a long time, and never had an injury. This is my first fracture, but whatever. You get over it. Things
What
heal.
what
You
time
take all the supplements, you do every physio, you do everything you can to
you
bounce back.
you was it a serious fracture or
It wasn't displaced. I didn't need surgery, so no. Like just had to chill.
interesting?
A little boring,
So
but
you're all on the
anyway.
good calcium, magnesium,
Yeah,
zinc, vitamin
totally.
C.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Building, 100%.
you ever jump on peptides?
No, it was it
No.
was one of those unserious fractures where the doctor laughs and goes, no, that's a yeah. We love those fractures. Those are fun for us.
Right. Anyway, let's go back to Bitcoin. I got a couple questions, and I like the way you get straight reality talk from Magoo. I'm sick of the bullshit.
Oh, there's a lot of
So,
that in Bitcoin lately.
oh, oh, oh. Anyway, okay. One of my questions for you is, what is your take? You know how Jeff Booth talks about Bitcoin has to become a medium of exchange, otherwise it'll fail. So what's your take on that? And like how much Bitcoin do you think could go into containers? And when I say container, I'm talking about like an ETF or some kind of a wrapped package like a MicroStrategy or something that's not just spot
Yeah.
Bitcoin that somebody's holding themselves before it's problematic percentage-wise
Um,
of the total.
I think
Or is it even?
I think what you're probably going to see is I don't know what the peak percentage is going to be of the overall float of Bitcoin, but like I rough estimates now, I would suspect that we're probably at like do you mean like real Bitcoin, like people actually own their own shit, or do you mean like
Well, I mean, like theoretically, out of the 21 million, and you can just say percentage because
yeah,
who
I would
knows how many are frozen, like Satoshi's
yeah,
coins.
I would
But what percentage, if it was inside containers like ETFs or equities, would you think it's problematic, if at all?
I would start to worry if it was over 40% of the actual supply, not like the hard cap 21 million, but like the actual what we think is actually still viably existing. And luckily I
Yeah,
think we're only at like oh, it's hard to say. If you take all the ETFs globally,
7 or something.
yeah, we're like 10-ish percent because there's a lot of shit just
11,
hanging out there from
yeah.
all the other ETFs. We're at like 10%, right? And so what I think you're probably going to see over the next 30, 40 years, you're going to see that number continue to creep up. Like ultimately, like Bitcoin's like story or life or whatever you want to call it, like it's a multi-century asset. And you're going to see over the next 20, 30, 40 years more Bitcoin being pulled into ETFs and MSTR like structures and just like gated walled garden Bitcoin where people can't actually get access to the Bitcoin. It's gonna go up the percentage, right?
Right. Or things that would allow it to scale, like a FETI, or, I mean, who knows what the banks are going to want to do? Are
Well, the
they going to
banks are
like
no the
throw it in a container to
yeah.
try to create some kind of a digital currency on top of it? Or like,
Yeah, well, that's what Hal Finney literally said fucking 20 years ago almost now. Basically 15, 16 years ago. He said that that's what they're going to try to do. And I suspect someone will try to do that. Um, and then realistically, that's kind of what all these like FETIs and like these ARC eCash protocols really do, right? Like you deposit real Bitcoin into whether it's like federated or some form of container, whether it's a FETI Mint or an ARC. And then you get issued e-tokens. That is essentially that. It's just a more decentralized version of that, right? And you'll have centralized entities do the same thing, right? Like it's literally a ledger on a bank account. Like when you go to Coinbase, for example, and you have Bitcoin, it's literally a ledger on a database. It's not actual Bitcoin, right?
yeah,
Until
yeah,
until you
exactly.
actually withdraw it, and then it's real Bitcoin. And so
Yeah.
so you're
I guess one of the things that bugs me is you hear this like people talking as though everybody could hold their own Bitcoin, as though everybody could be on chain and like running their node and verifying. And it's like, yeah, that's only available to a certain number of individuals just to the UTXO constraints.
yeah, no one.
And that just gets glossed over
Well,
so
because no
much.
one had nobody like this is the crux, or not really the crux, but like the whole Wall Street movement. Like I'll just call it the financialization of Bitcoin. All of these people that are buying the ETFs or MSTR or whatever, they fundamentally don't understand Bitcoin. All they care about is NGU, and they just care about one number, 21 million, 21 million, 21 million. That's all they care about. They don't understand how the protocol works. And so when you talk about things like the constraint of the UTXO sets and like the throughput of transactions per second and how much we can scale, like that is like speaking Mandarin to a fucking country bumpkin in Alabama, in terms of them being able to understand what that even means, let alone the repercussions of that and the knock on effects, right? And so, obviously, ultimately, like if Bitcoin were to ever be a medium of exchange for any segment of the planet, whether it's a particular country or multiple people in a country or cross country or whatever it is, for it to scale, it's not going to be on chain, right? Like
No,
it,
it's
it's
impossible.
impossible, right? So
The math doesn't match.
it's going to be you're like realistically like we're in the monetization phase slash financialization phase of Bitcoin's adoption curve, which is going to be literally multiple centuries, right? And so you're going to see the actual distribution, in my opinion, of Bitcoin go down, like the actual real on-chain Bitcoin. The distribution has reached its max fan out. Now it's fanning in, for probably the next 20 years, 20, 30 years. And like
What
when
do you mean fanning in? You mean
yeah,
centralizing more
centralizing,
so? Okay,
centralizing.
okay.
And so like when you hear like Jeff Booth or even Jack Dorsey talk about like, oh, if Bitcoin doesn't become a medium of exchange, it fails or it just becomes uninteresting. That is maybe true, but like what they're not really talking about is the actual time frame of that. Like because like I said, Bitcoin is a multi-century asset. And so Bitcoin could be continuously be centralized and financialized and walled garden for the next 30 to 40 years. That doesn't mean it's going to be like that for the next 200 years, right? Because, like, right now you have an asset class which is really $1 trillion at this point, relatively volatile. Um, there's actually quite a limited set of people on the planet that can actually not, and I don't mean on chain when I say hold it, I mean people that can actually have the financial, I'll just call it privilege for lack of a better word, that can actually store a vast majority of their wealth in Bitcoin. Like some farmer in fucking Ecuador can't realistically store the majority of his wealth in Bitcoin, right? Because their P&L on a daily operational basis is zero. Every dollar that they come in goes out in spending to live, right? And so you can't hold on to Bitcoin in that nature because it's just too volatile currently, right? And so realistically, as Bitcoin monetizes and the volatility decreases, like so when it goes from a $1 trillion asset to a $10 trillion asset to a $50 trillion, obviously the innate vol decreases, right? And so you the bull markets and the bear markets become shallower, and people can actually confidently hold it as a store of wealth, more than
Yeah, and the less volatile, the more quote usable in a sense
yeah, and
for an
yeah.
MOE
Yeah, and
anyway.
so, but the biggest things today that I would say that are holding back Bitcoin from being used as like an MOE, one, tax laws, and then two, the idea that people will use Bitcoin as a currency when they can use the shitty fiat they have, right? So if you have Bitcoin and then you have a job, let's say, and you make shitty fiat, you're going to be spending that fiat because like you have no incentive to spend the hard money, right? And like that, you don't like take my word for it. Like you think about yourself. Why would you sell Bitcoin
No,
for
exactly.
a
Why would you
taxable
sell it when
event?
it's still
Yeah,
monetizing and you have the
yeah. Like
tax
just
headache
go.
completely?
You can go look at so many different other monetary systems in history and periods of times. Like you can go look in Weimar Germany in the 30s in the 40s. Well, I guess not the 40s, but the 30s, where you had marks, you had gold marks, then you had paper marks, is what they would call them, and nobody would spend the gold marks, and so they would completely get relegated out of circulation because they would hold on to them because they actually had value, and they would spend the paper marks as fast as they could fucking get them, right? Because they just get inflated away, and so it's the same thing with Bitcoin and a dollar bill is that like why would I be spending my Bitcoin when I can essentially be spending all my fiat, right? Mind you, like I'm saying this is for most people. There's a lot of people out there that just have one, a fuck ton of Bitcoin that they just truly want to live off of. And two, they're in jurisdictions in the world where there's no such thing as capital gains. So they have no issue spending Bitcoin to buy stuff. Like I've bought so much shit with Bitcoin. I've bought ATVs, side by sides. I've bought golf lessons with Bitcoin. Um, I've bought retarded shit. I remember buying a plasma TV in 2012 with Bitcoin.
That was expensive.
Too expensive. That's probably what I have nightmares about the most. Um, but
Yeah, and
Was
also
100
for the people that mind it and are KYC free. I mean,
well,
you
not
know,
even
it's a
that.
greater
There's people
incentive.
that have evacuated themselves from jurisdictions that have cap gains, right? Like so they don't give a shit about like let's make a random scenario. Someone's sitting on thousands of Bitcoin. They don't have capital gains. Their cost basis is basically zero. Most likely, they may have a job or a business that they're making other income from, but they really don't see a huge problem with spending their Bitcoin. But those people are like probably 0.01% of the people out there. People who have been buying Bitcoin, even let's say from 2017, which is kind of wild to think that that's almost 10 years now. Who have a cost basis of probably anywhere from, well, it depends when they bought earlier in 2017 or later, but like let's say they have a cost basis of like $15,000 per coin, just because that was the bottom of the last bear market. Um, they have no incentive to sell. One, because they have cap gain issues if they're going to spend it, and two, they're realistically only sitting at a four banger right now in terms of where the price is. So they're like, oh, why would I sell my Bitcoin when I think Bitcoin's going to be $1 million a coin in the next whatever 5, 6, 7 years, whatever your retarded Bitcoin prediction is, right? So they literally have zero incentive to spend their Bitcoin. They're probably still working their fiat maxi jobs, whatever they're doing, and they're taking in a paycheck and then they're spending it, and any excess they have from that fiat job they're probably putting it into Bitcoin, right? And so that whole, I don't want to call it an ecosystem, but that whole cycle realistically goes on until those people, the Bitcoin is appreciated so much to where they now feel okay or happy to reap some of the rewards. It's literally the end of the marshmallow test, right? The perceived elongated wait time for a bigger reward, right? So whenever they finally bite into that marshmallow, they are like it's totally predicated on what the price is and how much they up. Are they up 10x, 20x, 30x, or have they had a moment in their life where they're getting married or they need to buy a house or they need to buy their big booty Latina, big diamond ring, or whatever it is, and they're willing to dip into their stash of Bitcoin.
Don't doesn't every single time they like that happens, that cycle happens, and the people buy the big booty Latina diamond ring, like that winds up centralizing the Bitcoin.
No,
Like
well,
it. No,
there's
how many people actually like peer to peer buy stuff? Right? It's like you're gonna put it into the system, and some banker out there is gonna be. I'm just saying. I just think that like how Finney is essentially right. Like in the end, all Bitcoin winds up getting centralized.
Well, I think there's waves to it, and I don't want to call it an S curve, but like I said, I think over the next 30, 40 years, the distribution of actual on-chain UTXOs consolidates and centralizes through the what I would call the monetization phase. So let's say Bitcoin in 40 years is $10 million a coin, right? Who knows what $10 million buys you? It could buy you a fucking loaf of bread for all I know how much money they're printing. But let's just say in 40 years, Bitcoin is $10 million a coin. So basically in 2070, whatever, 2080, it's $10 million a coin. And it has had a chance in multiple decades to marinate in the financial system as what will probably ultimately be a collateral asset that underpins a lot of other financial transactions in the economy, whether people are using it as collateral for margin, whether they're using that as you name it. There's going to be like repo markets. There's going to be reverse repo markets of Bitcoin. There's going to be Bitcoin backed loans. There's going to be Bitcoin backed mortgages. There's going to be you name it, because it ultimately is it's going to become a collateral asset before it becomes an MOE in any definition.
I mean, but even as an MOE, like it's gonna be on the Lightning Network,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
it's
not
not going
gonna
to be
be
on chain.
individuals fucking,
Yeah, in 40, yeah.
and it's not gonna be individuals. It's gonna be fucking Block running the biggest fucking Lightning node, and everybody's money is just in Block.
Well, the light that's the thing with like Lightning. It's like it doesn't live in a node, right? Like nodes are used for routing, like routing nodes. But the thing
But it lives in Block's channel, like Block's UTXO, and everybody's just
No,
using their
that's not how
shit.
Lightning works though. Like, so if you need like one, I'm not super bullish on Lightning, honestly, long term. Like, I think it could be a segment of a scaling solution of Bitcoin because, like, to open a Lightning channel, like let's say Magoo has wants to opening a Lightning channel to let's say blocks a routing node because they have the most connections in other routes. I have to do an on-chain transaction, so I have to spend whatever an on-chain transaction costs at the time to open that channel and fund it, right? And so if I ever run out of funding on that channel, I have to splice or basically re-up a new channel or fund that channel again from on-chain. So you have to continuously, eventually do some type of on-chain activity to continue your activity on Lightning. So like there will be a time where that's used in a peer-to-peer fashion. Um, but I've said this before, like the true Bitcoin renaissance of MOE doesn't happen in the United States. Like the United States story of Bitcoin is the monetization phase. Like the United States is the hegemon and they are the financial center of the world. So the US is going to be propagating the monetization of the Bitcoin asset and network, but it's not going to be the results
They'll be last to
it'll
the
be the
MOE party.
last to the MOE party,
Yeah.
mostly because of capital controls and the eventuality of what MOE Bitcoin truly means. Because when Bitcoin, I don't want to say when, if Bitcoin is used in MOE in any large capacity, it truly does probably mean the end of the US hegemon to some extent. It weakens it to a big degree because the US hegemon is essentially currently in the current monetary system, it's everyone uses dollars, so everyone needs US debt basically to back the well, not they don't need to back the dollars, but someone needs to buy the debt to create said dollars. And so it creates like the US Treasury and the US bond is the collateral asset of the world. And all these other central banks and other financial institutions need those as collateral assets to basically have dollars in existence. And so if Bitcoin truly starts to be the MOE, it truly means that Bitcoin is the collateral layer of the global monetary system. And it really hurts the US. It hurts the US the most. But this is something that will not happen while I'm alive. Like it's going to be something that happens. I have my sneaking suspicions when it will happen, and it's realistically less to do with Bitcoin and more to do with the eventual clear cut demise of Keynesian economics. And so Keynesian economics is a Ponzi, right? And we can get into a different story of a definition of a Ponzi, but there's a lot of things in the world that are Ponzi's. But Keynesian economics is truly a Ponzi, and it's predicated on basically increased population that leads to increased spending and increased growth in money supply, yada yada yada. Um, and if you look at
Well, population's going the other way right now.
exactly. And so this is my indicator of my suspicion where I think the current monetary system dies or starts to die drastically is when the world's population starts to decrease. And if you look at UN demographers, they think 2100. But if you look at realistically more respected demographers, they're actually a little bit more conservative. And they think that the world could peak out in population as early as like 2070. So that's something that might happen in a lot of your lifetimes. Um, and if it's true and the world's population not ends, but stops growing in 2070, the music starts to stop in musical chairs, right? You can still manipulate population through immigration to some extent, but obviously certain countries start becoming mass losers because their population is doing nothing but decreasing. But I do think that there will probably be cultural stresses in the United States that probably really limit immigration past 2070. Specifically, if you get into AI and automation and robotics as well, it gets harder and harder to try to explain to your populace why you need foreign workers when you don't. If you got robots in the year 2070, because realistically, at this point, the biggest strain on the U.S. economy, in my opinion, is the safety net, the dependencies, the transfer payments, Medicaid, Medicare. And so it gets really hard to explain to your populace why you need net immigration in 2070. So overall, when global population peaks, the Keynesian monetary debt-based system really starts to waver. How long it takes to truly die, I don't know, but that's where I suspect a new system is going to have to emerge. Now, what that new system is, that's a good question, because you have all your Jeff Booths and your Safedines who are true, pure Austrian economists who think we're going back to a hard money standard. Um, I just think is a fanciful, whimsical fable, just mainly because of all the growth is based off of credit. Like all the investment, all the innovation is based off of basically borrowed money and credit. Like there's inherently nothing wrong with Keynesian economics. It all, the problem falls when,
Except for the demography, like the demographic,
well,
like
yeah,
it
the
requires more
demographics is
people.
bad, but like the whole idea of
Well,
lending.
the premise was also expand and contract
Yeah, it
the
was back
monetary
when, yeah, it
supply,
literally Keynes
right?
himself
Well,
said
they
that
got rid of
crap.
And
the
then
contract part.
they never started to
Yeah,
contract
because every
because the
time
risk.
they did, it started to really hurt the economy, and people would.
Well, and politicians just want to print money because then they get elected again.
Yeah,
You know, like
exactly. So
the
the whole,
incentives are not in line to
yeah, so
contract.
the whole human nature thing kind of stops that from being a reality. And that's also where I think, like, wherever we switch or wherever we get off the bandwagon of debt based system, um, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays off. Obviously, holding Bitcoin is going to be immensely beneficial because, like, it is truly, if you own on chain Bitcoin, it's a true bearer asset. And it is clearly in the direction of being like a collateral asset. So, like, in the year 2070, like, if Bitcoin continues to grow, it's going to be a pretty important asset class to hold. Now, whether or not that happens at the individual level or whether groups of people get together a la fucking government and hoard Bitcoin and try to do something with it in like, well, I never said Satoshi. Hal, if Hal ever is right and said 15 years ago that there's going to be banks that create fiat currencies based off of Bitcoin collateral. Like you can even look at Saylor. Like Saylor's been like espousing similar language of basically creating money. Like it's kind of funny. It's like, oh,
Well, he probably read Hal Finney last week.
yeah,
You
well,
know?
yeah, that's a different story. But he's like, give me your Bitcoin, and I'm gonna take the Bitcoin and then create digital money. It's like it's kind of hilarious, but it's an oxymoron. But like someone will try to do that for sure. Someone will create money, even though Bitcoin is money. They will create some other currency with Bitcoin.
Well, Callie's talking about his eCash thing is now like there's like no chance of rugging. It's like totally anonymous. Like I don't know. Callie's talking about his eCash thing getting better or
Well,
whatever.
yeah,
So
eCash.
yeah, you know.
That's eCash is a form of this. It's a decentralized form of taking Bitcoin, putting it into a pool, and divvying out other what they would like to call eCash, right? Um, that's a form of this, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be other forms of that, like banks. Banks are going to issue, like, look, Coinbase is doing it. Coinbase, if you give them Bitcoin, they'll give you CB, BTC, or whatever, right? Where you can like pull it onto the base chain and network and use Bitcoin that's wrapped, right? Like it's wrapped by a centralized entity and you don't own any on-chain Bitcoin, but they've essentially created a tokenized Bitcoin. Let's wrap Bitcoin, if you will, right? And so like there's going to be like 80 million different, I don't want to say 80 million, but there's going to be a lot of different implementations of like wrapped Bitcoin, right? Whether it's wrapped on,
And Coinbase's wrapped thing there, their Bitcoin, what, like it's just their own centralized ledger, or is it on a quote
well, it's
blockchain?
on Base, which is an L2 of Ethereum. It's their branded L2 on like roll ups on L2 of Ethereum. So it is their chain.
With their one node running the whole thing.
Pretty much. I don't know. I don't know if it's one node. I haven't looked in Base specifically, but yeah, essentially they control it for better or or worse.
Before you go too far down this rabbit hole, can I bring you back to like the global and bring you back closer to the time frame than 2070? Like I don't know if you talked about this at all, but is Iran gonna be good for Bitcoin now that they're getting $300 billion in control of the Hormuz Strait and they won this war?
Uh, uh that's a I guess it comes down to the eye is in the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Trump will tell you that they won. The fucking Ayatollah will tell you that they won. Whether the Ayatollah and the IRGC actually will control the straits, that's yet to be seen. Or if they,
Well, they said like they get to at least keep their nuclear plants. Are they
well,
going to be able to
they,
keep mining Bitcoin?
they said that cool, I read it, or at least what has been released. They get to keep their nuclear program as is until they actually do a real agreement, because everything that I seen, this agreement is not an agreement. It's literally a 60-day ceasefire to work on a real agreement that actually addresses their nuclear program, right? So
So this is the pump, and there's going to be another dump
this
by
this
the
is
ship
this is the
opportunity.
classic, the pre-announcement of the pre-announcement. Like that's like, this is like they took a book out of like DeFi and crypto natives and they pre-announced the pre-announcement, right? But ironically, I've been saying this for months, and like I still understand. I still really don't think anyone ever clued into this, but like Iran has been one of the biggest sovereign users of Bitcoin over the last 10 years. Like they've been billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin. They've not only been mining it with basically free oil, but they've been transacting with it because they got taken off the dollar system. And the only way that they've been able to transact for the most part is through Bitcoin, right? Like, why do you think the IRGC, I don't, well, I mean, it wasn't just the IRGC, but Ayatollah and IRGC linked individuals. How do you think the Besant in the Treasury froze? I think they froze a couple billion of stable coins of theirs. Like, what do you think? Do you think if the IRGC had over $1 billion in like Tether and USDC, you don't think that they have like 10, 20, $30 billion of Bitcoin?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, and this is the whole thing. Like, this is more probably a tinfoil hat theory, but I think what has probably been happening over the last 6 months in this conflict is that Iran has been having to tap in to their Bitcoin stash as the United States has basically blockaded their ability to sell oil. I think that they've been having to dip into their Bitcoin stash to fund operations within the country and externally. And so I think what you've been seeing over the last 6 months is a, a financial attack to dwindle Iran's Bitcoin stack, as well as degrade their military capability. Right? Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. Like, I'll go find tweets from like 2020 that I'm basically I say that Iran's using Bitcoin more than any sovereign, not just locally by like locals, but like the actual government has been using it for the longest time. Right? So
Well, I mean, if you're sanctioned out of the world, what else are you
that's what
going
I
to
mean.
use?
And
You
that's
know?
like that's to me that's bullish Bitcoin. Right? Like, I'm not bullish on the Ayatollah by any stretch of the imagination, but like
Well, Bitcoin's for your fucking enemies,
exactly.
so whatever, you know.
That's exactly right, right? And like, for better or worse, Bitcoin is for your enemies. Now, what ultimately happens with this ceasefire or agreement and how that interacts with Bitcoin, it really depends on what ultimately happens. Because like, I'm not trusting Trump's word. I'm not trusting the fucking IRGC's word about all this shit. Everyone's bolstering and propping up. Trump's trying to make it look like a win-win for him. The Iran's trying to make it look like they won. Everyone, like, you don't know what's actually true and what's going to be happening with the ceasefire and the agreement. Like, so you never really fucking know. Um, it's good that it's over, because ultimately I do think we were I don't want to say on the edge, but we were getting pretty close to a pretty big financial crisis with shortages, with the like, if you take 20% of the world's energy supply offline for 4 or 5 months, like like, if you think that's not a massive problem, then I don't know what to tell you. And it's not just the oil itself, it's all the byproducts, like the fertilizer, all the plastics that get used from it. Like, there is going to be shortages, not just like, look at PPI was like 6.5% last print, right? That's fucking high. Like, if this war continued, you would start to see PPI be 7%, then 8%, then 9%, especially when you're going to the summer months. If this war or blockade, whatever you want to call it, was going on through the summer months, like, you would come into September with probably PPI at like 9% and CPI probably at like 6.5%. Like, one, how do you think that's going to go over in November for midterm? And then two, they were literally running out of jet fuel in Europe, bro. Have you go looked at like a plane ticket price for like anywhere in Europe lately? It's retarded, bro. I'm like looking over here. Last summer, I flew to Greece first class, and I think it was somewhere. I think it was like almost 4,000 a ticket. And then I looked again. I'm going to Greece again this summer, and it was like $10,000 a ticket. And I'm like,
Holy shit.
whoa! I wonder what could have caused this price increase.
I mean, even here, like I fly almost every week, man, and I fly pleb economy, but tickets last year that were $425 one way or $650 one way, you
Yeah,
know,
and
like
that
every
and
day.
that's just one thing. Like, if you just go look at PPI and you go look at where the inflation is, like, it's not just in energy; it's everywhere now. It's in food. Like, you're still going to see a few, probably not a few, probably like the next two prints are still going to be like relatively high in terms of like inflation. But like, if they would have kept that blockade through summer, like, actually, I think you run the risk of causing an economic crisis that would pop the AI bubble, that would just completely like, it's like literally Jeffrey Epstein, the economy, right? So I do think there is some truth to the aspect that Trump needed to make some deal, or else he was facing some pretty hard consequences. But on the other side, it's like the United States literally bombed Iran into the fucking ground, right? To as much as they could. Like Iran didn't win this by any stretch of the imagination. I made a joke maybe a month ago now. I don't even know. I said Iran goes to war with the United States, and Europe loses and China wins. Like, I think that's what I said, because like that's what it looks like, because the US is like self-sufficient in its energy, right? And so the US really didn't lose a lot. They're losing a lot because of everyone else is suffering so bad, right? Like Europe is fucked, right? And so US went to war with Iran and Europe lost and then China won. And the reason why I think China won is, well, we don't have to get into too much, but I think China won because I truly think the US now has played all of its cards in the Middle East. And I think their ability to project power going forward in the Middle East over the next 10, 20 years is probably degraded to some degree. Not like it's not like overnight degraded, but like I think it's the beginning of the degradation of their ability to project power. Cause like ultimately, like if you look at this from the Iran side, Iran went to war with the United States and they didn't lose. Like the IRGC is still in power. Sure, you might say, well, it's because the U.S. didn't really want to go in and fight them. Well, yeah, that's true. But why didn't the U.S. want to go in and actually fight them on the ground? Like if the U.S. wanted to do a full-fledged invasion of Iran, the United States would win, right? It would be bloody as fuck, but the U.S. would win. But wars don't exist in a vacuum. So the United States, one, didn't have the political capital to go into another war in the Middle East, and Iran knew that. And two, uh, Trump has an election in November, and if they had boots on the ground and they had a midterm, I they would have lost the Senate and the House, right? And then you run the risk. Trump runs the risk if they do lose the House and the Senate, he probably gets impeached the next day, and then probably out of office the week after that. Like, and that's not even like being hyperbole because they would impeach him for almost anything at this point, whether it's valid or not valid. They would impeach him on whatever.
Could
And then
could they impeach him, and then impeach JD Vance, and then the
yeah,
Democratic leader of the House becomes the president? Like they can steal the presidency that way, right?
I, I've never actually looked into like the lost history of, or not even the history, but like what would happen if they impeach the president and the vice president, and then obviously the next in command is the leader of the House, which would be a Democrat. I'm not
Right?
sure.
Yeah, they could
I'm
take
not
it.
sure. I'm not
They
sure.
could do.
I'm not sure what that, but like you would have to almost guarantee that like if they did win both the House and the Senate, and right now it looks that Dems will win the House, but Republicans will hold the Senate, right? And so sure, the Dems, dollars to donut, Trump's going to get impeached again, but it's not going to go anywhere because the Senate's not going to vote for it. But if Trump had boots on the ground, like this war was the least popular war since Vietnam. Like no one, literally no one, even on the
Oh man,
right,
if there were bodies being drugged through Iran, like happened in
with heads
Iraq
cut
and
off.
shit,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
like that would be fucked. Like
yeah,
the people in the U.S. would riot. You know.
yeah. That's what I mean. There's just no political capital for any war, right? Like people don't care if like okay, launch some stealth cruise missiles and hit a bunch of schoolgirls. We don't care about that. Like go ahead,
Thanks,
you can do
Anthropic.
you can do that. Yeah, thanks Mythos. Um, and that's fine. There's a threshold on how much they can take, but like if you literally start like, oh, we lost 10 soldiers, 20 soldiers. Oh, here's a video of a lieutenant getting his head cut off. Like it changes the dynamic changes pretty quickly, right? And if that was happening during a midterm election, it's like Trump actually might end up in jail, right? But that's kind of part of the reason why Trump kind of had to make some sort of a deal, even though this is like the pre-announcement of the pre-announcement. But like just for the sake of like everyone that's living, like let's just hope that it's over and that it's the war's over, not just for our bags, but just for like people's lives in general. I don't even know how many innocent people probably got killed in this whole conflict. It's so fucking retarded. Like literally, it's a war that didn't need to happen, right? Like we got fear mongered into thinking that the U.S. or the Iran had nukes, even though the entire intelligence apparatus said that that's not a chance. And
I mean, it had to be something to do with the initial thing where like the Qataris and Saudis and Kuwaitis all got on the same side of the fence as Israel. Like it had to like that had to be the initial kind of
no, I think
thought.
I think it's simple. I think Rubio said it, and I think he meant it. I think that Bibi in Israel had intel that all of the senior Iranian officials were going to be meeting on a specific place in a specific time. They had that intel, and then they told the United States, we are going in and we're striking this location at this day and we're going to kill the Ayatollah. And the United States is in a position to either do two things. They can either say, no, you're not fucking doing that. And then you risk Israel still doing that. And then you get put into a quagmire about what are you going to do to punish Israel for not listening to you? Or you basically be like, okay, there's a chance here to decapitate the snake. And if you do this, they are going to attack all of our assets in the Middle East regardless. So if we just sit back and do nothing, we're going to be hit anyways. And so they're like, fuck it, whatever. Trump had the hubris that they just did a fucking coup in Venezuela. Maybe these strikes in Iran that killed the Ayatollah will bring these people to the negotiating table right away and we'll get a good deal. Because remember, they were literally at the like Kushner's were like literally negotiating with those leaders of Iran up until I think a week before the strikes actually took place. And they were negotiating, and clearly they've even said this, like we weren't getting anywhere in the negotiations, so we basically had to kill the negotiators, if you will, to get new negotiators and to change the opinion. And so they went ahead, and I truly think that they fundamentally misunderstood or they underestimated Persians in general. And I don't even want to say the underestimated the IRGC or the Ayatollah. I think they just truly underestimated Persians and their ability to absorb pain and not cave. Like, and they like look like they've launched what was it 2,300 airstrikes in a span of like a month or 2 months, and they basically decimated the entire Iranian Navy, Air Force, military targets, completely wiped it out. But what they couldn't do is strike all of the missile launchers and missiles and drone facilities that were literally underground the entire country. And they thought that if they cut the head of the snake off, that's it. Like they're going to come to the table, we're going to get a better deal, and we're going to be on our way, right? But
Instead, we
the
got 1,000 snakes.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what they literally designed the IRGC for. That it's like basically splinter cells throughout the entire country that have no command center, and they all operate independently. And they just all started firing their missiles. They all had their pre-approved targets, which they probably were getting from Russia and China, live satellite information. Like
Right.
Iran might have very, I don't want to call it sophisticated missile technology. Like they have pretty good missile technology, hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, things that they can get through American air defenses and actually land on targets. But what they don't have is sophisticated surveillance and imaging and radar systems. So they were probably being told and given data and information from China and Russia of exactly where to hit and when, because there was times when there was like $400 million surveillance aircraft that were literally landing in certain air bases in the Middle East just to refuel, and Iran was hitting those in the 30-minute laydown time when they were getting refueled. Right? Do you think Iran?
Well, there was like some public Chinese company that was publicly posting satellite pictures of bases like from 30 minutes ago, like
Yeah. Well,
like
I think
like 2 weeks into the freaking
Yeah,
war or
I
whatever.
I think that had more to do with the U.S. trying to mitigate the reported damage more so than it was preemptive intel on strikes. I think they were getting preemptive intel directly from the CCP and the Kremlin, and that Chinese website was probably literally just their job was to propagate the knowledge of the Iranian missiles were actually getting through air defenses and doing damage. Like, look, like the Iranians caused probably, I want to say close to probably like 50 to $100 billion of damage. Like they were taking out like multi-billion-dollar radar systems like with their missiles. So it's not like the Iranians weren't able and still aren't able to project power. And so they were just firing missiles everywhere. Anywhere that there was a country that had a fucking US military base, whether it was for troops, whether it was for aircrafts, whether it was for refueling, whether it was radar systems, they said, fuck it, we're just going to fire missiles at everybody because they're all using their bases, right? And that's what they did, causing ultimately, like, I'm not a huge fan of fucking the IRGC or Iran, but like the cards that they were given, they played them pretty well, to be honest with you. Because like think about like like on the very 20,000 foot level, you have the IRGC and the Ayatollah against the most sophisticated military in the entire planet with basically an unlimited budget. And the IRGC basically are at a point now where they're signing or going to do a peace deal. Who knows if it's backstabbed later, but they're still in power. The United States, not just because of militarily things, but political capital, political will, and other things. The Iranians played their cards knowing the situation and ultimately got out with their heads, at least some of them,
I don't
right?
understand why we like how that really happened because originally every time a new head came on, we were just blowing that guy up too. And then all of a
Well,
sudden
why
at
do
some point they just stopped blowing up the head guy. Like they couldn't
well
find him
because
anymore.
well, one because the Ayatollah's son like went into hiding. Like we still haven't seen him. Like I don't even know if he's alive, but apparently Trump has confirmed that he is alive. Um, but the problem is, it's like if you ever want a peace deal, like imagine like uh Iran striking Vatican City and like killing the Pope. Like, do you think that like Christians are going to stop at anything for a revenge? Like, and that's like kind of like what killing the Ayatollah is to some degree in Iran. And so like you killed him and now you have his son. You also killed his wife apparently and killed his kid. Um, and so you're left in a situation of like one, they probably hid the guy pretty well, but they were killing a bunch of like high top official Iranians. But the thing is, the mitigating thing, in my opinion, is they never wanted to put boots on the ground. And if you continuously cut off the head of one of the snakes or many of the snakes, you're never going to create regime change without boots on the ground there. And so if you kept on cutting the heads on the snake, more would show up and then it would start to get turned into a very chaotic situation where there is actually no one in power. And so there really would stop being any viable way of having any agreement because you kill these people, there's no one to negotiate to stop this. And so if there's no one to negotiate, these fucking retards in their caves are going to continue to fire their stockpile of hundreds of fucking missiles and drones. And you're going to cause the chaos in the Gulf and the Middle East, which has been happening forever until you actually stopped every single last fucking person in a cave with their hundreds of missiles, and some of them probably had thousands of missiles and all these drones, right? So at
So I
some
mean, isn't
point,
Trump just going to do
It's
what he's doing about Ukraine right now? He's just like, we're not a part of that. We're done with it. It's over. It's not part of us anymore. Like, isn't he just going to have to like be like, yeah,
well,
we made a
the
deal. It's
Ukraine,
over with, you know?
the
And then
Ukraine's a different situation. There's no situation in Ukraine that's potentially could bring down the global economy, right? Like the Straits of Hormuz are 20% of the global energy supply, right? There's not 20% of anything happening in Ukraine,
yeah, but
right?
that's
There's
what I
no,
mean. Doesn't he like? Doesn't that force him to just play the same card though, where he's like,
no, he
I gotta
doesn't
walk
care.
away.
There's
I'm
nothing
with this. I
stopping.
don't want to fuck anything else up anymore.
Well, one, they're not directly in Ukraine because that would mean they're fighting Russia and that would lead to probably a nuclear war. So they're just supplying Ukraine with weapons for better or worse. And Ukraine is realistically losing this war. Um, but there's nothing that Trump cares about. Like he's like that war can go on for the next 5 years. It's not really stopping anything that they want to do, right? Like you don't see it in the news anymore, right? So they just it's forgotten about. To be honest with you, like sure, if you go on like the internet, you can watch people get fucking killed every day with drones and whatever, but that they don't care. There's not like there's nothing happening in Ukraine that's going to crash the economy. There was something that was going to crash the global economy if the Straits of Hormuz weren't opened up, right? Whether it was a month or 2 months more or 3 months more or whatever it was, it was definitely going to cause a global crisis. I don't know how fast or how quick, but like when you cut off the world's oil, 20% of the supply, and not only oil, but nat gas, you start getting shortages, inflation starts going up. Like, look, before the war started, inflation almost fucking hit the Fed's fucking 2% target. And now we're back into the threes, maybe heading to four, right? On CPI. PPI is in the sixes, right? So like that's not good for elections, man. And that's what was really grinding Trump's gears is like they thought they were getting into a conflict that was going to be over. They did not think they were getting into a conflict that was going to go on for 6 months and cause oil to go up 30, 40% and for CPI to go up 30 to 40% from where it was. They didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. So they needed to fucking do something to get the fuck out of there. Right. So now we just need to all pretend that Trump won so that we cannot have this conflict continue, right? Because bringing this all back to Bitcoin, I think for us to get back to an all-time high, I think we need rate cuts. And so we need oil to continue to go down in price and inflation to continue to go down to get rate cuts, right? Like look what happened today. Walsh or
Well,
whatever.
wasn't Warsh talking about getting inflation back to 2%?
Yeah, he literally was he was hawkish, right? He went out there and ultimately I think he's full of shit. But he went out there and he had to be hawkish, right? Because the at this stage of the debt cycle of being like 120% of debt to GDP ratio, interest rates are not a monetary lever that really fucking do anything anymore. Realistically speaking, it does a lot more psychologically than it really does like mechanically with the credit impulse cycle. Um, QE still does, but they don't want to do that. So what did Warsh go out and do? He used the best tool that the Fed has. He jawboned the fuck out of the market and basically said, "Hey, look, we got to get inflation under control. Oh, by the way, we're not going to raise rates. We're just going to talking about raising rates and maybe scare you a little bit. But that's it, right? And so that's where we're at with the Fed. The Fed they like if you look at the dot plot or if you looked at where a lot of the FOMC members put the dot plot, like I think it was like 9 of them or I forget what it was, a high number of them were talking about a rate hike this year, right? And that was, I think, more jawboning. I don't think we're getting a rate hike, especially now that the Iran conflict is air quotes over. So as Bitcoiners, or at least at NGU technology fanboys, we want the war to be over. We want inflation to go down and we want the Fed to cut, right? Realistically, I don't see that happening until the first cut probably would have to be December, just given where oil is and where inflation is and how long it takes for some of that stuff to work its way through the numbers. Like we probably won't get down to like 2% inflation or close to it until December, maybe not even until Q1, depending on how fast oil drops. Um, so we need that to happen. Like Bitcoin here, like whether you think Bitcoin's bottomed or it hasn't bottomed, like we're basically been in Davy Jones's locker for about 6 months, right? Like so we've been 60K relatively. Sure, we've been range bound from whatever 60K to wherever we got up to the high point in this 6 months, but basically 60 to 70K. And now we're back down kind of the lower half of that range, 63 or whatever we are. Whether we make a new low or not, um, whether we go down to 55K or we just chop around here for a while, I don't think we're going to break above the 200-day moving average until we see a rate cut. I could be dead wrong on that. Like I do think if they pass the Clarity Act, which I think now is a coin flip now in July, probably if it does pass will be later in July just because of the schedule that they have in terms of what they need to pass first. So if Clarity passes, let's call it a month from now, I'll have to look at the exact schedule. I forget what date they go on vacation again.
I think when you asked Grok, and I think Grok said they had like basically 20 days to do it between now and the election or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's very
basically on
I
vacation for the rest of the fucking year.
yeah, let me see. I had a tweet. I literally put it together because I added up all the vacation days. Let me see
It's
here.
like
Okay, yeah.
like what 20 or 30 actual
Yeah,
days.
so they're basically back in now for 14 days until the 26th. They're not going to do clarity. And then they're out from June 27th to July 12th, right? That's the July 4th holiday. And then they basically have from July 12th to August 8th to get it done because August 8th to September 13th is the summer vacation. And then October 3rd to November 8th is the midterms. And they're not going to pass anything after September. So it's going to have to happen from basically July 13th to August 8th. And they have another bill I think they need to get through first. So that will probably put us, if it does pass, near the end of July. And right now it's a coin flip. At least that's what Polymarket says. I don't know what the realistic chances are. Senator Loomis is tweeting about it every fucking day like a broken record. It's kind of sad at this point. But if clarity does pass, like I would expect there to be a pump in Bitcoin, just because of just this the sentiment.
She must
It
have
could
got some
happen.
fat donations from Bitcoiners or something to be pumping it every day like that.
No, man. Loomis is not a Bitcoiner, bro. She's been getting jacked up on Coinbase's heroin for the last 2 years. She's retiring. She's leaving. She's gonna probably get a job at Coinbase like instantly, like or something. Like she's gonna be um, a crypto policy person, right, in the private sector, right? Like, just look at the Clarity Act. Stablecoins show up in the Clarity Act like 150 times. Bitcoin, I don't even think shows up once in the entirety of the Clarity Act, right? There's some knock-on effects that Clarity give, right? Like just making clear regulations and rules allows more professional capital to come in because
Seems
they know what
bad
the
for Bitcoin when I
rules are.
read about it. See, it didn't seem good for
Well,
Bitcoin very well. It was like
it's
stablecoin centric.
but it is. But if you go look at the Magoo strategy chart analytics, the closest thing that correlates to Bitcoin is stablecoin market cap. So it's bullish for Bitcoin because I would expect that it's bullish for stablecoins because the word stablecoins mentioned 150 times in it. And if stablecoin market cap goes up, Bitcoin goes up. Like that's like the truest one-to-one correlation of everything. You have all these other fucking Luke Gromans and all these fucking chartists. They'll be like, oh, look at it's net liquidity minus this, blah blah. Like creating some chart to create some correlation, but like the truest correlation is stablecoin market cap. Like it's dead simple. So it's
Did I
bullish
read
for
that
stable.
chart right? Is it basically like, I don't know, like a year lag or a year and a half lag between stablecoin market cap pump to Bitcoin pump?
No, it's like it's literally 1 to 1. I'll see if I can post it to the nest, but like it's literally a perfect correlated chart of the stablecoin market cap to Bitcoin, right? You can have the opinion like it's the chicken and the egg scenario, right? The Bitcoin goes up and stablecoin market cap it increases, or you can say it's the other. It's probably a little bit of both, but like if stablecoins market cap go from wherever they're at now, 300 billion or whatever it is, I don't know what the total is. If it doubles, like I'm pretty sure Bitcoin's probably going to do pretty good. So there's that. Give me 1 second.
Print more tether. Come on, Paolo. Print the tether. Make the Bitcoin go up.
Yeah. So ultimately, stablecoin goes up, Bitcoin goes up. There's obviously a lot of other things that make Bitcoin go up, like rate cuts, right? Um, like for example, like Warsh was somewhat hawkish today, and Bitcoin dropped when he started talking hawkish, right? Like Bitcoin wants to see that ZERP policy come back for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason, but they want cheap money, right? And then you have the sailor narrative, that AI is sucking all the liquidity out of Bitcoin. It's kind of funny that he didn't mention that until after Bitcoin crashed 30%. It's like, if you had that alpha dog, why didn't you tell us? Yeah, like all the interest is in AI right now. Everyone is totally focused on SpaceX. Like, like, I don't want to say rightfully so, but like the biggest IPO of human history. Like, obviously, everyone's going to be paying attention to that. Like, it's not rocket science. Get it. But when that changes, I have no idea, right? Because it all depends on when Anthropics goes out, when OpenAI goes out into the markets. Like, so it could, like, the hot, air quote, hot money might not come back into Bitcoin for another 6 months, right? That doesn't mean Bitcoin can't go up a little bit, right? Like, we might get out of this 60K death zone and we might get back up to like 75, 80K. But for us to make another run at all-time high, let's say, we're going to need some of that interest of AI to kind of dwindle down, and for that hot money, that rotational money, to come back into Bitcoin. And that all depends on when OpenAI and Anthropics go out, right? Because you have all the fucking AI weentards looking to bet and gamble on those IPOs, for better or worse.
Maybe
Um,
maybe Mr. Bailey can take his knock of money and pump Bitcoin again.
yeah, they just sold some Bitcoin, so maybe they got a little bit of money to buy in there. But they sold Bitcoin, so they did the opposite of pumping Bitcoin.
Oh, rugged
They
again.
sold it. Rugged again. No, my Bitcoin. What's up, Frank?
Mr. Flintstone.
Frank. Gotta move that guy. Jesus, this guy's driving a semi truck, bro. I got fucking 18-wheel drivers listening on my spaces.
They're busy on the road at night.
Yeah, exactly. Bitcoin. No, we're down to 63,900. Oh no. The Fed didn't pump our fucking bags, those pricks.
Yeah, we're gonna dump below 58K. The memers gonna get their coin, their bags stacked.
So it's going to do one of two things. So it's either going to be elusive and we're never going to hit 58K because of the 58K gain, or it's going to go there and immediately fall out and go to like 50K and rug everyone. Like, like, it's a binary. Like, we're either not, like, the bottom's either in or we're going to 50K. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, 50, we're not going to have the momentous moment of where Bitcoin touches 58K to the dollar and then just go up straight from there, right? Like, if that did happen, that would probably be, I would say, I would argue that could be maybe one of the top, if not the top meme moments of Bitcoin's history. There's been a lot of meme moments, like it's over 8,000. Like, there's been so many good like Bitcoin price memes, but like, if it does go back and literally just touches 58K for the meme and just goes off into the sunset up to 100K, that would be
That would be
pretty.
the best, like, pack your
That would
bags
be
to the moon, meme ever.
that would be pretty historic, because like, I don't know, like, usually the market's always wrong, but like, do you know how many fucking retards probably have limit orders at 58K? Like, everybody, like, you're an idiot if you don't. I got limit orders at 58K just for the meme,
You,
right?
you
Like,
just want the
I'll
screenshot with
show
the
all my
58K exact number, the 000.
yeah, 58 filled. Yeah, exactly. If that fills, like, That's memeable, baby. And also, I haphazardly made a meme in like, I think it was December of 2024. So when everyone was losing their mind, when everyone was talking about Bitcoin strategic reserve, we just crossed 100K for the first time. Sailors jerking everyone off with the New Year's 100K party. I made a meme and I threw it out there, and I think Bitcoin was like 100 and something K. And I said Bitcoin's going to 58K before it sees 158K. And if that like meme from 2024
Retweet.
comes true, it's going to be a retweet from hell.
That's a good one.
Uh, I already have a bunch of good retweets, but that one would be pretty fucking funny.
And what do you think the next high is going to be? Like new all-time high?
Depends on a lot of things. I think the first stop is probably 150K. Like that's just like the human nature of round numbers is that like no one cares about 127,000 or 130,000. Those aren't sexy numbers. Like anyone who's a numerologist, like that, those numbers are worthless. Like the round sexy number of 150K, $150,000 is the first stop. Like that's the first memeable target. And it's funny because like you might think that sounds retarded, but like technical trading, like even in stocks, like those retarded numbers always get hit. Like just round human soothing numbers that soothes your brain, like they get hit just because people want them to get hit. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So 150K is the first stop. And then after that, there is an ascending technical, I don't want to call it a triangle, but there's an ascending technical resistance line dating back all the way to the 2017 peak that you take it, start at 2017 peak, intersect it with the very peak of 2021. It literally touches the very peak of this
It's the
cycle of
funniest linear line
2025
ever, man.
three times. It literally hit the line three times. Three fucking times it hit that line and got rejected off of it. And so if we ever breached that linear line, and right now I think it's roughly like 130K, and let's say we make like a 150K sometime next year, like Q2 or whatever, it will be roughly around 150ish. If we ever get above that line, like Bitcoin's teleporting from 150 to 200. Like that's what's going to happen. Like it's going to be the moment, or I made a joke about, where we're going up so fast that even the biggest bulls are going to start questioning if is something wrong here, because it's going up so fast. Like something has to be broken in the monetary system for Bitcoin to be teleporting from 150K to 200K. People are going to be like, what is going on? Like, did like China implode, or did the United States like buy Bitcoin? Like what's happening? Like it's going to be that type of a move. Like it's going to move. If we break that line, it's going to go from wherever it is, let's say 150, it's going to teleport to 200 in like probably a month, and it's going to be retarded.
Yo, that
All right,
at
like
150, that line is what's it say? August of 27 is when that line hits like 150.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that could happen, or it could be a fucking another doom roll where it fucking hits that line and bounces off again, and there's another bear market.
Hey, Magoo. Now that we've been like, ranging around 60K for so long, and it's been like 8 months, I wanted, I wanted your,
No,
no, I wanted your
no,
comment on something that actually affects
no.
everybody, right? Because like, I think a lot of people are getting really tired, exhausted with what's happening, and they're losing that sort of faith and conviction. Not gonna name someone prominent that they recently turned very bearish, but what do you think like that affect?
Gary
What?
Cardone. Was his last name
No, what
Cardone?
do you think the effects? I mean, like, what do you? Can you make a comment on this? The price effects on people, like at this moment.
I remember my first bear market. Like this has been the most like subtle bear market of Bitcoin's history, bro. Like it is Like we're down 50%. That's better than being down 80%. Let me tell you
Yeah,
that.
but dude, like, come on,
Matt,
like
like,
these people are down 60 grand per coin. You know, like they went in and they bought 100 coins or whatever, and now they're down 60 grand per coin.
bro, why you needed to listen to Magoo? I literally told you at the top. I fucking posted a fucking gif of Futurama showing everyone my ass, and I said this is the top. If you didn't listen to me, that's your own problem, right? So like, I'm just telling you, you should have listened to me. But if you're down 50%, like one, and you're sad about it, uh, you shouldn't be. Like that's literally this is par for the course. Like if you can't hold on to the cheddar, baby, like you're never gonna
But like
get
the
get the
absolute
cheese.
number, like
Like
the raw number, is so much bigger, right? Like,
not really. Imagine buying in 2021 at 60K and it going down to 15K, bro.
I mean, it just depends on your size. I feel like some of the people, like sad right now, went in with such huge size. You know.
That's because they're idiots, bro. You never lump sum buy, bro. Like you don't blow your load at the top, bro. Like when you're going parabolic, you don't blow your load, bro. You
Well,
do
tell that to
DCA.
Tom
Like
fucking whatever his name is. You know, Fun Strat. Fun Strat.
well, that guy's a special kind of special, but yeah,
I'm just saying that's what
that
this cycle was.
yeah.
Is like all these fucking, like, these aren't fucking, you know, like homeboys with 100 grand in. These are homeboys with 100 million in.
Oh, like the
Yeah, just
treasury
like all the
companies
money
and
is
all
like, you
that.
know, and now they're down 60 grand per coin instead of 6 grand per coin. Yeah, baby,
Yeah, but you just look at it in percentages. They're down 50%. You need 100% gain to get back to where you were.
it's rough on them.
That's better. If you bought at 60K in 2021 and you went down to 15K, you needed a fucking what was it? A fucking
It's true. Yeah,
200%
for sure.
move up, right? Now you only need 100%. Think of that. It could be worse. Right, but this is why you never should buy Bitcoin on leverage because you're gonna get fucking wrecked. Just buy spot Bitcoin. It's not rocket science here. Like it's whatever. Don't if you're gonna buy into Bitcoin, never buy in all at once. That's just retarded. No matter where the price is, whether it's up into the stratosphere or whether it's like literally Davy Jones's locker, you're never going to top wick a chart to sell it, and you're never going to bottom wick the chart to buy it. Never. Right. So you fucking DCA in. Like DCA is like the quintessential strategy for your retard that are out there. Like you have no idea about price levels. You have no idea about macro. You have no idea about anything. You just know that Bitcoin has 21 million and you know that the federal government is going to print money forever. So quick math, 2 + 2 = 4, right? And so you know that holding Bitcoin for the long term is going to be good. That's smooth brain economics for you, right? And so what you should be doing is DCAing in over a long period of time, right? If you're a retard, right? If you're a little bit more sophisticated, you can be a little bit more sophisticated with how you enter the market and exit the
So I'm not a
market if
big
you're going
fan
to
of
sell it.
on-chain
But
metrics, but I keep seeing like, well, somebody's
they're
saying that like
retarded,
50% of
bro.
coins are underwater right now or something. What's the average there? Like how often, like how many coins typically go underwater before shit's over?
Usually that's been a signal that it's near the bottom. But once again, I truly think on-chain
They're
metrics
pretty
are
retarded.
like they're like the Bible for retards. Like I really there actually no, I'll take that back. There's one entity out there, and I'm not gonna name them. There's one entity out there that does on-chain metric algo trading that has a real I don't want to say really successful, but a fairly successful fund that is used on-chain metrics specifically. They've created their own proprietary algo that has done fairly well and outperformed Bitcoin. But everyone else on this app that tries to point to some on-chain metric about when Bitcoin is a good buy and when it isn't, and what the retards are doing on chain with their Bitcoin. Like I think it's fairy dust. It's more fairy dust than technical analytics, in my opinion. Like if I was going to look at either on-chain metrics or lines on a chart, I'd rather look at lines on a chart while I do lines on a table, right? So it's it's pick your poison. You can do technical trading, you can do on-chain metric trading, you could do cocaine. It's literally all the same shit, right? So it's not going to get you anywhere. Like it's if anything, like you and people in like same it's just it's the same as like the M2 bros, right? Like, remember those fucking idiots for the longest time that were porting an M2 chart and correlating it to the Bitcoin price, and like it was charting like identical for like like a short period of time. They're like, "Oh, look, man, the M2 just jumped up this much. Bitcoin's about to go to the moon." And then it did the opposite. Like M2 kept growing and then Bitcoin kept
It was
going down,
perfect until it
right?
fucking
It's just
wasn't
like
at all.
that's the thing with all of these models, like stock to flow, the rainbow
Rainbow's
chart,
broken now too, yeah, for sure.
yeah, rainbow's broken, power law is broken. All of these fucking stupid models are never right and they're always broken or they get broken. So the smooth brain thing to do is just to buy BTC, DCA, and be on your way, right? It's simple, stupid, right? It's the easiest trade on the planet, but also simultaneously the hardest trade on the planet because humans, I can bona fide, this is the only guarantee you're getting from me in this entire space. Everything else, don't listen to me. But human nature, like humans are 100% not designed to be able to hold an asset over a long period of time and see massive swings in the valuations. Like people cannot handle that. The majority of population cannot handle their net worth violently swinging 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% in both directions, right? Human nature, they're just not designed to do that. Obviously, you can mitigate that with sizing. If you put your 4 or 5% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, you can withstand volatility a lot better than someone who puts 100% of their net worth in Bitcoin. Um,
Yeah,
so
the
yeah,
2017
that
crowd might be wind up being like one of the
So
like they're the
goaded.
ones that like they're not rich yet, right? And then also like they're being forced to be patient and learn all these things, you know, and then they also probably kept their fiat job like you said and can still stack and just like ignore, right? Like maybe they're good.
Yeah, and it depends. It depends on when you bought in 2017. Like I know a lot of people that got near the end of the 2017 run, and they were buying at over $10,000 a coin. But then I also know people that were buying in the early months of 2017, where the price was not even like it was like I think it was like 900, $1,000 in January and February
Yeah,
of
I remember at the
2017.
December of
Um,
2016 it was like $800 or something like that, right? um
yeah, and even through 2017, like I will say 2017 so far has been relatively the I don't want it was the best, but it was the most wild ride, just because of everything that was going on. Not just the price appreciation, like it went up to like 2,000, 3,000, and it went back down, and then went to 5, then crashed to 3, then it went up to like 9, and then crashed back down to 7, then it went to like 13, and crashed back down to 9, and then it went fucking from 9 to like 20, like instantaneously, in the months of like
so
November and
fucking
December. It was
fun, man.
just like it was literally a fucking a
so
drug the whole year. But
So these drastic price movements remind me of an individual that's pretty, I guess, popular or famous Bitcoiner who got so frustrated, and if you guys remember, he sold all of his Bitcoin around 20K. Do you guys remember who that is?
bro, you talking about
Sounds
Bitcoin
like it.
Uh-huh.
Tina?
So with that being said, do you think this sort of frustration might affect the current sort of like Bitcoin,
Good riddance, man.
proponent,
Get them out.
Oh,
right?
Weekend.
probably.
Get them
Pro-
Because
out.
they, right.
Probably. You know
Uh-huh.
what, Tao? You know who's going to be buying their Bitcoin when they puke it up?
Well,
And there's
and
a
the
few people, I'm
2017ers who
not
are
just
still
talking
working
about
their
one
fiat
person. I'm
job,
not
dollar
talking,
cost averaging like plebs.
there's a few people
Bro,
too who
working.
have expressed that, hey, they're getting so frustrated that potentially they even mentioned in spaces that if we're still hanging around this whatever price in like next year or something like that, that they're not going to be around. That you won't see me is what they said. So.
Oh no, we won't see them in a Twitter space anymore. Like, this is the whole thing. Like this is the design. Humans are not designed to be able to withstand this. Like you need to be a special kind of retard to be able to be in this space, and that's a good thing and also a horrible thing because you come onto this app and people are actually retarded, but they're retarded enough to just be able to hold on to their Bitcoin. Like that's the double edged sword of autism, right? And a lot of people can't buy Bitcoin and hold on to it. And like I think this cycle's a little bit interesting because yeah, sure, we were down only 50%, but there is an interesting dynamic of you have literally .com level retardation going on in equities where people are sitting on their Bitcoin and we're in essentially Davy Jones's locker down 50%, while SanDisk is up 1,200% this year. So I think a little bit of envy being stirred into this year's cycles pot is probably making people really pissed off, more so than they should be. And that's literally human nature. That's jealousy. This
Cardone
is
mad
human
as his
nature. People are jealous.
his
Pe- People are
buddy
mad.
got made more
Yeah,
money on
people
SanDisk
are
than any
mad that,
Bitcoin.
and I'm gonna like I told this earlier today, but like I bought an AI bag sometime in March before my surgery, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm so late to this trade. Like I'm a fucking retard for doing this. Like I think I'm already late to this trade, and I'm probably gonna lose a buttload of money on this trade. And whatever. And but I did it anyways. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a surgery, like whatever. I have nothing better to do. I'm gonna be sitting in a fucking chair for like 3 or 4 weeks, not being able to move. Whatever, right? I'm gonna buy this AI bag. And lo and behold, retard maxing was the move because that AI bag was literally up like 79% in 3 months. And I'm like, and like, like obviously I didn't sell Bitcoin to go buy that bag. Like I have just the
Western
cash
Digital is
in
up
equity portfolio.
150% in 3 months, 1,200% in a year.
Yeah, like some of these companies have no business being at these valuations, but like it was a well, one, it was a gamble, but it was just a trade because that's where all the hot money was. No one fucking cared about uh Bitcoin, or they haven't cared about Bitcoin for a while. Um, and this is what I mean. I don't know when that hot money or that interest is going to come back into Bitcoin, right? Like we could totally be at 60K in November still,
SanDisk is up
right?
600% this year.
No, it's up even more than that. Like
And that's
there's
just year to date, I
like you
guess.
look at SanDisk, yeah, you look at Nvidia, SanDisk, Micron. Micron's up like fucking 100% in the last like month. Like it's ridiculous. And you have Intel, where Trump's like bandwagon insider trading that thing, and
Yeah,
it's
the
up
hot
a
money's
fucking
going to rotate at
ton.
some point. Yeah.
It will, but the question is when. SpaceX is apparently worth more than Amazon for some reason. There's everything. Like Amazon's up, like TSM's up, like AMD. AMD. Let me
AMD
pull up
up
the AMD
crazy,
chart.
dude.
AMD.
It's so fucking crazy, man.
That's what I mean. Like this. I think the Schiller PE now is like 42 or 43 or whatever it was. Like that's literally .com level, folks. Like I don't know what to tell you there, but like, um, it's definitely frothy. That's one word to say it. Um, so the question is, what happens? Is there going to be a throw up in equities, or is there going to be like a calm and cool collective rotation? I kind of don't think it's going to be a rotation because like if you're at Schiller PE of like 43, and like these people that are selling high risk speculative overvalued equities, like is their first thought being going to be, let me rotate that into something on paper that's even more speculative in cryptocurrencies? It's like I have a hard time seeing that. So I think there has to be a washout period for true capital rotation to happen. um, but that being said, like the Clarity Act might get a little rotation of capital coming in. Like the AI stocks are definitely cooling off now.
Well, what happens if the Democrats win
That's
the
for sure.
election? Because like that's, I feel like the election is really another major catalyst this year, right?
I think there's going to be a lot of turbulence going into the election. Like I think equities are probably going to be not doing 100% hunky dory going in, and then Democrats are going to win the House currently, and then Republicans are going to maintain the Senate. Um, so there might be a week or two where people are really uncertain about the trajectory just because of Trump is not at the wheel anymore, per se. But then people are going to realize that the economy, like these companies are still spending like $700 billion of fucking AI capex spend next year, and they might
I mean, gridlock is
be
typically good
okay.
for the markets, yeah. So
Well, if you just look historically, equities in midterm years, equities always do dog shit going into the midterms, and then they do great coming out of the midterms. So, is this year going to be different? Like literally every every single midterm election that has ever happened in American history, bar none, literally every single one, going back to like the 1930s, the S&P 500 or the main stock index at the time was up on average 8% 7 months, 8 months after the midterm election. So is this going to be the one year that's the outlier? I don't know. Right. It is interesting because AI stocks are so fucking overvalued right now. Like when I shorted SpaceX, it was over like a $3 trillion market cap.
yeah, that morning it like it was like 10% up pre-market, and then it opened up another 10% right away or some shit like that. It was like moving like the 3 minute I had to watch the 3 minute candles to know what was going on that day.
I shorted it on Coinbase where it was trading 24/7. And at one point, I think it got up to like 229 on Coinbase perps. But the what the fuck? I'm getting so many ads on fucking this app now. It's retarded. Oh my god.
Well, I
Jesus.
don't know, isn't XAI or whatever now they're public, so they got to make money.
Apparently, I don't know. Like, I don't get it. Like, so at one point they were worth $3 trillion and they had $18 billion of yearly revenue. What? Like, like it's fucking insanity. But like, that's the thing. They've literally created a shitcoin because they have 5% of the entire float
Well, and like
out there.
40% of it comes unlocked after like 6 months or something. I think like you're right. So is that
Yeah,
like the tank in the market, right? Because all of a sudden the float goes from four
I
percent to 40%.
it might.
You have to have some balls to touch it before the 6 months is up. That's for sure. I mean,
What do you mean touch it? If you're gonna ever buy it, it would have been. It should have been at the
yeah,
IPO.
yeah. I don't know if this is if you're seeing this, Magoo, but I'm seeing a lot more forced sellers um,
Or sellers of what?
of their Roth IRAs, of their Bitcoin holdings. Um, just a lot of people cashing in things at unopportune times.
Why? Because they're leveraged.
It
No, it's because they want money to bet on SpaceX and other AI shitcoins.
no, I mean, what most Americans aren't even invested in stocks, let alone most Bitcoiners. I mean,
Yeah, I don't care about poor
oh
people.
well, I mean, Bitcoin maxers are poor right now too. You got to think of them.
Like
You're
I
not
said, I
poor if you
don't care
bought in
about poor people.
2017.
We are if you've
You're not
never
rich
sold
either.
any and you don't have anything invested anywhere else. Imagine being out of the market right now. That's the only real dumb thing you could do is not be in the market.
What market though?
The stock market. It's going to go sooner or later, but well, you can
I think you're.
still buy Nvidia right now, right? It's still going up.
No, I would. If I had to guess, and I'm a retard, so take this with a huge grain of retard salt. Um, I think the QQQ has probably peaked for at least the midterms. Take that for what it's worth. I
There
think
is kind of
the
a double top
midterms,
on it.
the midterms. Not only is it not not a double top, it couldn't even reach the double top, so it failed. But this is like literally microscopic analyst of like day to day, right? Like
We still have,
if this
you know,
if the SpaceX couldn't make QQQ reach a new all time high, I don't know what can.
what just 6 more months of massive layoffs. That's going to help, right?
Oh,
We
definitely.
could just fire 50% of every employee at every company for the next 6 months. That'll get us there.
Yeah, it's funny. So many people are firing people and just claiming AI.
I mean, they've been bloated since the
Even though,
fucking COVID. You know.
yeah, I know. I know. That's what it all is. It's companies finally willing to let go of their bloat because the labor market's not tight anymore. Because they were afraid when the labor market's tight that if they fired anyone, they would have a very hard time hiring people. So now they realize that the labor market's not tight. They're willing to let go of all their bloat. And now they have the perfect excuse to tell everyone in the market, oh, it's AI efficiency gains. Let's fire them. And so now they are.
I mean, if you read some of the stuff though, like they've got all these visa hires and they find out like the chick's boyfriend is doing all the coding and she's showing up for all the meetings and these entire departments of hires are like performing at 20%. So yeah, they're just gonna fire entire floors of people. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I still have not seen a huge productivity gain in it with AI.
No, it's not because of the AI.
Like
It's because they
true.
just have too many fucking people.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Where they put them on the roof, right? When they can't fire them, they just hang out in the roof all day.
This isn't Huawei where you're pushing people off the roof.
No, but at Google, there's how many people at Google do nothing all day and get paid a
Well,
salary
some
right
people
now?
just sit at their house and
You
play
know how
with
many
their fucking
people?
dog all day.
Yeah, some people do that and play with their dick all day. I mean, but no, seriously, like corporate America is literally UBI disguised. Like people are like just working a corporate job that literally do diddly shit and just collect a paycheck. Like I don't know if you guys ever heard of uh the 90-10 rule, where 10% of the employees produce 90% of the output, and then 90% and 90% of the employees produce 10% of the output. Like I I truly believe that that's fairly accurate at most companies. Like you have your
HR department.
mass well, it's not just HR. It's even in the engineers. Like I literally like you have a team of 10 engineers, like probably two of them are doing 90% of the work. And the other 80% are doing all the remedial like janitor
Labeling
tasks and that
files.
support the two that are yeah, either labeling files or being like, oh, support ticket. Oh, there's something wrong with this this POCO class. Can you change this property field? Where the other two are like constructing like the entire system. Like that's been my experience. Literally every engineer job or engineer company that I worked at in my entire career, that has been the case. Where you've had probably 20% of the engineers doing 80% of the work.
But that's natural to a certain point because how many of those guys can you keep in a room for more than a year?
You can't even keep them together in the same room for five
That's right.
minutes.
So if you get 10 aces, the isms and the disconnects are going to be so differing. It'd be a fucking gong show. And even it is even with sales guys. If you have like too many good corporate sales guys in one environment, it just gets horrible. Engineers,
Well,
same
yeah, that's
thing. Everybody's got the right
one thing that
answer, and they're all just going to fight all day.
one thing that I think is going to be super interesting with engineers is that the truly talented engineers, and let's just say coders for now. I'm going to talk about other engineers, but the truly talented coders were the ones with isms that really are solo workers. But now with whatever it's Cursor, Claude Code, whatever you're using, I truly think that those products are demonetizing those people specifically because now the value doesn't lie within the coding stack itself, like being able to code an elegant solution. And it really transfers the value away from those people that actually know how to code beautifully, and it puts the value on the engineers that actually understand the business or the product and that have the technical chops to the degree where they can actually fact check what the AI code is spitting out, opposed to before where it was the value lied in the engineers that literally specifically designed and coded systems. It is getting pretty good, and that value transfer I think is occurring. Like realistically, at least what I've seen with engineers, like I've had that five, not five, but like a few engineers where some of them are like the A tier tisms with that are just pure coders, and then I have other engineers that don't have tisms. They understand the technicals. They know how things work, but they're not the best coders. But I'm seeing these AI tools really level the playing field, and actually the value is leaning towards them more, because these people with tisms, for the most part, you cannot tell them a general idea and tell them to go do it. That's not how their brain works. You literally have to spell it out for them line by line of like an SDLC document, or every last little requirement of a project. Like if you just told one of these TISM engineers, hey, I want this product and this is what I want it to do, like really quickly, they wouldn't be able to get off the starting line. That's how their brain works, right? Where if you give those same two lines of instructions to like a mid-tier coder that doesn't have tisms, that actually can talk to people and actually understands a product or a business, they can now go and build that product pretty fucking fast and pretty
So
good.
I gotta clarify this then, because I was of the mindset that the more specialized you are, the more time you had here. But you're saying the people with
No,
the most
no, I think it's the
generalized, people, the
opposite.
generalists have the best chance here.
Yeah, I think. Well, one, I think front engineers are cooked. They're just fucking cooked to begin with. AI will do a better front end design and code than anybody out there today. But when it comes to system designs, whether it's database design, architecture, like microservice oriented architecture, like command query, whatever you're just doing in your design system, um, the specialists are gone, in
What do
my
you do? Just
opinion. I
input their GitHub and say, "Do this autistically," and then the AI spits out the code the same way. Is that?
No, you don't say that, but what you do is basically if you have a project, let's say, and you have a general, very loose description of what this product is. And these mid-tier engineers know the design fundamentals. They know design patterns. They know what a fucking database table is. They know what a fucking API endpoint is. They know how to interact with a data layer and to basically create services, et cetera, et cetera. Like, so they're not retards. They're
They
actually
know
engineers.
enough.
They know enough. And but they what they know enough of, they can use these tools now to supplement their general knowledge and to drill down into certain things and get very specialized content, if you will, or code or instructions about a specific thing. So if I'm a generalist and I know nothing, well, I don't want to say nothing, but I'll put it into this terms. I know how a database works, or, an SQL database. Let's forget about all the other ones. So you have a structural, sequential query language database, referential data. I know tables. I know primary keys. I know foreign keys. I know constraints. I know how to structure tables to relatively get me the structure of data that I need. Um, but what I don't know, and I'm not a data expert, and I don't know how to structure these tables in a way where they're efficient to where basically you structure them how the data is going to be queried and all these other different things, specific indexes, all these different things, very specific things within the data model and the database itself. Being a generic engineer, you are smart enough to know the questions that you need to ask the AI, and the AI is now smarter or just as smart as these specialized experts in that specific field, and they will tell you. So if you say to them, hey, I'm building a trading system. I need a database design for a trade blotter that takes in orders, and it's an order management system, and it does this, this, and this. And I was roughly thinking that these tables would be able to hold the data and be able to give me my CRUD functionality over top of this data model. It will then take all of that, probably ask you a few other questions. You answer them, and it will produce a perfect ERD with all the scripts right away. And it will be like, okay, here are all the caveats. This is why I designed it this way. Here are all the indexes and why I've created these indexes for these tables. Here's the relationships between this table and why it's not this and how it's this. And oh, by the way, here are all the audit fields and the extra little goodies I've added to these tables. Oh, and here's a view. Here's a stored proc that
Okay,
does this and
okay.
how you want to put
But
this.
but then okay, so my question is then how does it get the last 10%? And the other side of that is when do we ever have anything unique or artful come out of that? Like stop because
So
most
this,
best things are stylistic to some
this is where the humans come in, right? And so the like I said, the value transfer is going from the specialist to the generalist, and the generalists don't have the tism, so they understand a product. They understand what is relatively being looked for in terms of what they need, and that is where that's where it comes from, the humans, the prompting, and the artistic value, or oh, I don't like this color, whatever the fuck it is, that's coming from the humans that are prompting. Now that directly ties into like, where do we get that last 10%? I'm actually, at least currently, I don't think like, you have, at least with coding, you have these people saying that like coders and these engineers are just, the jobs are going to disappear. I don't think that's the case. I think LLMs have gotten to a point where I think you're getting diminishing returns, and where it's going to be getting harder and harder to get that last 10%. It's like going the speed of light, essentially. It's the same thing. The faster and closer you get to the speed of light, the harder it is to increase your speed because your weight increases. And I think these LLMs are coming up against that already, not just for coding, but generalistically everything. So the gains are going to be diminishing in terms of like how better the next LLM, the model is from the next one. And so for coding, I think you're always going to need an engineer. Engineers' jobs are going to drastically change. You're going to be, honestly, you're probably going to be more of a prompt engineer and an audit engineer than you are going to be a coder. Like realistically, and to me personally, I'm probably, out of 100 lines of code, I'm probably writing one or two lines. And I'm
Jesus,
probably,
really that little?
yeah, and I'm probably editing 10 lines out of the 100. So I'm editing 10 lines out of the 100. I'm writing two of them, and the other fucking 95 are being completely auto generated. Um, and so my job, as I've been in engineering now for multiple decades, like I used to be a code monkey and systems engineer, architect, yada, yada, yada. And now I'm realizing that coding, I don't do coding. I'm not a coder anymore, right? Like I know what code is. I can write code, I can read code, but more of my job now is a prompt engineer, understanding what is being given to me, being understanding what the business wants, translating that into prompts, translating that into the code, auditing the code, tweaking the code, invite and so on, right? It's like an iterative loop, right? Like you have a meeting with, let's say, a CEO. The CEO says, hey, Magoo, I need this product, right? You sit there, you think about it for a few minutes, you ask the CEO probably 10 questions, very high level questions, like, okay, this makes sense. I understand. You go take those 10 questions and those 10 answers, you put it into Claude, you give your overall synopsis of your idea of what the project is and how you think it should be structured, and you get Claude in really almost a paired programming s fashion. You go back and forth on design aspects, being like, this is what I think we need, this is what we want, this is the business rules, and you go back and forth. So it will spit out a generic design or a generic whatever of, let's just take a simple application where you have a database, you have an API level, and then you have a UI, right? And you start architecting the solution out, and then you can get more granular as you go. Okay, let's break it down into the tables. Okay, now let's break down this API level into the routes, and then let's break it down into the actual services that the routes call. So if you do like a service-oriented architecture or whatever, and then you break it down into the UI, we're like, okay, let's start building out the wireframes, and then you can go straight to high fidelity. Like you can use Claude Design that for now. So you go that route, and you're not writing any code at the moment. You're just a prompt engineer, and basically going back and forth with Claude on design decisions and going through, and then from there, what I do is you're like, okay, I relatively have a pretty good foundational view of what this application is from database services, API routes, and UI. And then you break that down into digestible chunks of what can actually be accomplished by agentic coding. So whether it's designing the database and doing the database to doing a service, doing that, and then you go in the same Claude chat, you basically say, okay, Claude, let's focus in on the database design. And then you say, hey, you after everything you've talked about, you say, okay, create me a prompt for Claude code that is everything that we just talked about. And then it creates you a prompt that's probably anywhere from 500 to 1,000 words, uh, depicting everything that you've just talked about. You put it in to Claude Code into plan mode, and you copy paste, put it in, and then it's basically looks at your repo, or if it's a fresh repo, it just says, okay, clean screen greenfield slate. Here's my plan. It spits out another plan that's probably 500 words that go into a little bit more technical detail. And you say, all right, let her rip, baby. And it starts to go out there. It will create the scripts for the database. It will create let's say you're using some POCO ERD technology entity, like let's say for .NET, for example, you'd be using Entity Framework. It will create the data access layer. It will create all the POCO models, all the DB
How is it for
contexts, all the
legacy? Because a lot of times,
it's better for well, I like greenfield coding, any engineer does, but like for example, if you're working at a firm and let's say someone has a system that they're solely responsible for and they get hit by a bus, or let's just say they get thrown off a bridge in Brazil and they thought the bungee was supposed to be attached to them and it wasn't. And they hit the ground and they die. And so you come in on Monday morning where the
or they
SME
just
for that.
retire and didn't leave documentation. Like
Yeah, that
literally.
too. So yeah, so what you would do, in my opinion, is you would basically go to Claude Code and you would basically say, "Here, you have access to this repo locally. You can create a workflow for it specifically, and you can say, hey, go through this entire code." And you can specify, do you want a multiple page documentation? Do you want diagrams? Whatever. You can say, hey, I want a full documentation write up of everything this application does, and I want diagrams of the system flow or the data flow, and then I want word text in a
Right.
document to show me what this does. And it will honestly, it will create that. Like you could have millions and millions of lines of code, and it will create that relatively probably in 20
So,
minutes,
so
30 minutes.
that's much better than literally anyone that doesn't know anything about it. That's infinitely better. So no, I agree. Okay, last question then about it. What about the deployment? So you've had it go through the systems, you've had it create all these codes, this code for you essentially. You've added your finishing touches to it. How do you find it with deploying? Are you still manually deploying stuff, or is it doing that
Well,
for
it
you?
depends on what you're deployed. It depends if you have like a CDIC or whatever you have, or how you do your deployments. Like usually, how way I like to design them, like well, it depends where you have it deployed. You have it in like Dockerized. You have it on Kubernetes and in some form of an image, or you like directly fucking deploying it to some fucking machine
Yeah,
somewhere,
let's say
and
it's
you
like a
need all
hot
that.
drop onto a server that's gonna.
If it's a hot drop into a server, I wouldn't automate that via AI because it's so simple. Like you're literally dragging and dropping. If you're like, if it's like a website, like a single page application website, literally you're dragging and dropping a folder, right? Where some engine, let's say Engine X, is basically routing it to that folder and getting served up. Like that's the simplest deployment. Like if it's something more complicated, like let's say it's like whether it's like a node service or whether it's like a .NET application or whatever. Like I like to either Dockerize the entire application into an image, and then deploy that way. And there's many different ways you can deploy. Like this is another thing that AI can do. You can literally, whether you use like GitHub Actions or whether you use Jenkins or whatever fucking delivery pipeline that you use technology, most probably people probably use GitHub Actions at this point, but you can literally say, hey, write me a fucking deployment script in GitHub Actions to basically take this and deploy it to this, and it will fucking write that up for you as well, right? Depending on like how you want to deploy. There's so many ways to deploy things now. It's kind of crazy. Like you can deploy things on like bare metal, you can deploy things on like SaaS, you can deploy them as like images, you can deploy them as like raw fucking file dumps, like you can deploy them as executable. Like there's like 8 ways from Sunday to fucking deploy
And
anything,
you're not,
right?
and you don't have problems. It works generally speaking. It's good at that.
Yeah, I don't really use AI for deployment. I use it maybe to write my deployment script with whatever I'm using. Let's say I'm using GitHub Actions, I'll have it help me write a script, right? Or what I've been doing lately, I've been using it like I'm like this is where the expert value is being transferred to the generalist. Like I have I don't want to say zero, but I have very little experience with uh infra as code, like Terraform. Like I've done it, but like I am not like a systems infrastructure engineer where I'm sitting and writing Terraform scripts all day. But now with AI, I can literally have a conversation and create Terraform scripts in my deployment. So if I want to deploy something, not only am I deploying the code, I'm actually deploying the infrastructure with code. It's like it's infra as code. So like every time I deploy, it's actually tearing down the actual resource on the cloud and building it back up every single time. Right. So like depending on how sophisticated you want to be. And the reason why people do that is because it makes systems highly replicable. If you ever have any like disaster recovery scenarios, you ever have any downtime, etc. Like you're literally deploying the entire unit, not just your code and all its dependencies. You're deploying the fucking infrastructure. Like on like Amazon and EC2 deployments, like you can literally terraform the entire thing if you want, right? And depending on how sophisticated, but once again, you can use AI to help you run those Terraform scripts if you never had any experience writing that, for
Oh
example.
man, the bit streams that we license or sell for the FPGAs, there was like three guys in the entire space that were good at writing system language, assembly language on top of these FPGA cards, and we would entirely break blockchains with these things. Um, but it took me and two other teams working together with like 15 people for us to keep up in that space. And now we literally just take the algorithms or we take shitty bit streams and we ask the AIs to optimize them and they do like 95% better than what we have. It's incredible how effective they are at yeah, just there was three people and now anybody can do it.
It is interesting because that's kind of part of what we're seeing in air quotes DeFi. Like people, like retards, like script kiddies are literally using AI to find vulnerabilities in smart contracts. And there apparently is a fucking ton of them absolutely everywhere, littering the entire DeFi ecosystem. So you have retards who don't know how to actually like decompile a smart contract that's on, let's say, Ethereum and then be able to then read the code and then be like, okay, yes, this is a vulnerability within this contract, right? So now you can just be a retard and point to a contract address on the Ethereum blockchain and be like, okay, decode, download this contract, scan it for vulnerabilities, and let me know if you find one. And you can create a program that will like go through the entire Ethereum chain and find, and literally every time you go to an address and find a contract, literally search it for vulnerabilities. And anytime you find one, like mark it down and send me an email. It's like,
We used to do like 2 or 3 step attacks where we do like time locking and different things so we could get a value in a memory spot where we could then change the private key and things, right? And the exploits that they're using on the DeFi bridges and things right now are like 7, 8 step exploits that they're using. And
yeah,
the guys doing
yeah.
it have no idea what any of it is doing.
Yeah, and apparently someone found a fucking day one bug in Zcash, and apparently like you could infinitely print Zcash. And not only that, because the way Zcash is designed, you can't even prove if someone actually fucking created coins or not. So like there could be a bajillion Zcash out there somewhere that no one knows about. Yeah, that's the whole scare with like Mythos, right? That like literally people were going to use Mythos model to like basically cyber attack everything. Which I actually think there's a relatively like high probability that there's some pretty big day zero shit everywhere.
Oh yeah, the majority of the hacks are still to come on most of the crypto stuff. Most of that's going to happen in the future. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I found maybe a week ago. No, I guess it was maybe it was a week ago, maybe two. Microsoft suddenly pulled down all of their libraries that are like core proponents for things that are used to deploy to Microsoft Azure. They just didn't tell anyone. They just deployed it and literally broke everyone's like fucking deployment and GitHub actions that deploy to Azure. Didn't tell anyone. And so it makes me think that someone found some pretty fucking serious vulnerabilities in like core Microsoft libraries that people use to deploy to Azure, and they pulled them down for like I think it was like literally 2 days. They didn't even
No,
say
no.
anything.
So so the guy who figured them out had been screaming at Microsoft for months, and he went public like a month ago, but it only caught wind like last week. So my assumption was Microsoft was forced to because PC Magazine was writing about it.
Yeah, and so they took them all down, and then they brought them back up. I don't know if they fixed them or not. So there's definitely a huge vulnerability there, but
So do you think we'll see that with some of these USD number one coin, or what's he calling it, 100 coin, or
oh, Trump.
yeah, he's doing another one, US 100 coin or something, calling it the actual US dollar. He's going to try to launch a coin and pretend it's the US dollar. You can't make this stuff up. He's doing this stuff right in your faces at this point. I can't even understand why you're not in the streets.
Because they're too busy fucking working their slave jobs.
Because my stocks are up. Chill out. I'm looking at a boat.
He's grifted so much money. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I know I warned you about this last time, but one of my clients is a fire chief, and I spoke to him today, and he said they're literally chasing arson all around the city right now. So that's
Which
fun.
which city?
That's in Toronto.
Oh boy.
Like, and it's like it has never ever. He said it hasn't been this bad since like the time it was bad in the 80s or whatever. Like it's
What are they lighting on fire? Buildings or just like
so
garbages?
the Masonic buildings, 5 of them got burned downtown. The churches are all getting burned. Um, yeah, a lot of businesses are getting burned. There's a lot of extortion going on in the East Indian community. They're extorting each other. Their business, if you have a business, small business, and things. So there's a lot of fires related to that. I don't know. There was a ton during COVID, obviously, because get the bag. But I mean, this stuff is all like legitimate, just crime.
Interesting that's Masonic lodges. Like if they're like is it like immigrants or is it like real people that are pissed?
No, usually, well, no, usually it's like a single white guy. They got the one guy they here in Vancouver. They attached him to 14 fires because his phone's metadata was the only one at all 14 fires. And I'm like, motherfuckers, wasn't his phone metadata the only one at 3 fires too? Like, do we have to wait for 14 fires? What the fuck? He burnt down giant piers that have been up for 100 years. Just crazy shit. So I mean, how do we equate all that into this? Because I mean, people are going to get really good at crime using these things.
I don't know what the fuck you're doing up. Aren't you you're not in Toronto, are you? You're like
No,
fucking you're in Timbuktu, aren't you?
we're in Vancouver. We're in West Coast. So yeah, it's bad here too.
Are Asians rioting?
The gang violence. There's like another 2, 3 murders every day right now. It's all hopped up. The Punjabi gangs are at full. The guy in the prison.
Oh, it's Indian gangs. That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And but they're also doing all the crime for the Chinese cartels and for the bikers, right? They're just cheap hires. But
Jesus
no,
Christ.
they just sent a letter to the police chief, the guy, one of the guys in prison, who runs one of these gangs, the Patel gang or whatever, said that we have 2,000 guns ready and we'll kill anyone that fights back. And he said that to the police chief of Calgary.
Fuck, eh?
Yeah,
I
it's that's spicy, man.
I was in Calgary a few months ago. Not a few months ago, I guess maybe 3 months ago, for a small tidbit. I went up and skied in Banff in March. So I was briefly in Calgary, obviously flying in there. Um, Interesting airport. First time I've ever been there. It's kind of a fucking flat fucking city. It's kind of funny. Um, for the fucking far as the eye can see until you see the mountains. Um, but no, Banff is not nice. First
Where
time
did you ski?
I was in Lake Louise and then Sunshine for a couple days.
Great. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was there for end of February, beginning of March. I was there. I think I got on the hill. I think with 4 days of skiing. I think we did 2 days at Louise and then 2 days at Sunshine. It was pretty good. We got some decent snow while I was there too, so definitely not complaining.
Did any of the local ladies take you over to the rock garden at Lake Louise?
No, they didn't. Like, it's so funny. It's so like you go there expecting to hear like a bunch of fucking retarded Canadian accents. Everyone that works there is fucking from Australia.
85, 90, or New
Yeah,
Zealand. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Australia and New Zealand. It's kind of fucking weird. It's like hilarious.
Well, I mean, if you're fine with STDs, it's fun, but if you're not,
That's what I thought. As soon as I walked there, I'm like, wow, these women really look used. I'm like, oh my god, maybe that's just like the genre of like the board culture. Like, I'm not like a fucking ski bum or by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'll go on like one ski trip a year, and but these people are like ski bums. I'm like, Jesus, these girls look fucking
no, bro,
used.
it's bad. Do you know those things we made illegal, the company stores and the company cities, so that you had you didn't have to buy all your food goods from the company that made you dig the hole? Uh, the ski resorts do that, so they give you a charge card to your account, and you can go drink at the bar anytime you want,
That's
uh,
dangerous.
and it comes off your check later.
Do they
And
do
yeah,
they
they're living rough.
I was asking myself when I was there skiing, I'm like, are they provided like lodge or do they have to like figure out where to fucking sleep?
Well, a lot of times they pay that you have to pay for lodging, which is crazy up there. So they pile in.
Yeah, but I'm assuming they probably I don't think they stay in Banff.
They used to, and then just financial interest turned it all into fucking condos, and nobody has anywhere to live anymore.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I literally someone said that when I was there. I was sitting in a hot tub there, and I asked some guy who's a local there, and he said the same thing. He said like over the last like 10 years there that like they've all my big money's come in and bought the condos, and now they're literally all these like plebeian Australian people are literally having to be bussed into Sunshine and Lake Louise from like some random other town that's like 30 minutes even further away than Banff town from Sunshine. Like Sunshine, I from my recollection, it was like maybe a 15-20 minute drive from Banff, and Lake Louise I think is closer to an hour. But like they were saying they were busing all these workers from like some other bumfuck town where they could get like cheap rent. That like he said that the people that worked there couldn't afford rent in Banff or something. I'm like, okay, that
Oh, for
makes sense.
sure. Yeah, no, for sure. They go live in Squamish, in like board hops where 8 guys live in a house. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's a thing. When I
No,
moved out west, I for 3 years I put 8 people in a house. I put a lock on the master bedroom, and all I did was chase the snow around for 3 years, and it was a fucking beautiful life. But it's bummy as shit.
it is bumming. I heard at least distinctly 3 times, and ironically, it was only women because I don't think men would ever say this in public. I heard women talking about they only have like $70 for the rest of the week to like live off of. Like they literally like literally I heard conversations, overheard whether I was eating at the lodge or one time I took a shuttle bus back to town and it was all the ski bums and the girl was like, I only got $68 for the rest of the week and I know I got to spend $20 here and then $10 there. She's like counting every dollar to make the $68 last. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm like, where? Like, one, they can't pay them that well, but three, like these people, like, just that's their life. Like, I was like
Yeah,
shocked.
and they're in it for 4 years. But
Is
I
it
mean,
4 years? Like, what is like
well, they'll
what's
stay. They'll stay as long as they can. They'll stay as long as they can. They'll
how does
stay
that
till.
work? Do they get work visas there or what? Like, how does that work? Or they get paid under the table?
So everyone ends up doing a serving job under the table. So they work for the resort as long as they can with the free passes, because the passes are literally now thousands and thousands of
Yeah, for like
dollars.
season passes. Yeah.
So it works out if you can be a 3 monther and get a pass for the year, and then you work at the bar every night.
So in the day you work at the hill doing whatever, scanning tickets or fucking whatever you can to get the pass so you can get your ski pass, and then at night you're working at a bar, you said, or a restaurant or whatever.
Yeah, so you can get chlamydia or whatever. Some
Nice, nice,
some
nice. I
some
did.
antibiotic immune
Yeah,
resistant thing from Australia.
there was. I really didn't like any of the food there. There was only one restaurant that I went to that was really good. It was a steakhouse. I forget the name of it. I don't even remember. Um, but the food wasn't good. But there was one steakhouse that was good. All the other stuff was just pub food. Like it's literally just like whatever, right?
There's different vibes. Vancouver is super lame,
Yeah, I've
but
been. Yeah, I've been to a few different.
Banff is the commercial version. Whistler's worse off. But if you're looking for like the hippies and the snowmobilers, you got to go to Revelstoke. It's a tough ass
Yeah,
hill, but that's a cool place.
that's another hour or two past Louise, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Louise is the
someone.
one close to Banff.
Yeah, that's what people were talking about. I remember the people that I went with, they were debating about Rebelstone. I'm like, I really don't want to drive 2.5 hours each way just to get to the fucking hill. So we ended up going just to Lake Louise, which is, I think it was like an hour ish away, which isn't bad. Like, cause if you're skiing for like, if you get first chair and you're skiing for like 6 hours, like I don't want to fucking drive 2 hours back after, like at 3 o'clock or 4 p.m. whenever they close the hill. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's a different story if you can get a shuttle, but I don't even think they have shuttles that far. I know they had shuttles to Louise, but I don't know if they had shuttles to that other
My
hill.
uh my twin brother, who's fraternal, doesn't look like me. He was in Japan when the yen blew up, and right at like the New Year, and they were supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff, but everyone got snowed in. So all they did for 2 weeks was helicopter ski for like less than a weekend pass at Whistler. Right?
That's
It's
pretty nuts.
just
I've looked at helicopter skiing before. Depending on where you do it,
oh, it's
it's pretty
so good.
pricey. It's pretty
It's worth it,
pricey.
man. It's so worth it though,
I
because you get
seen.
fresh lines all day.
I was looking at that at I call it Big Hole, but Jackson Hole, and they wanted, I think it was $7,000 a person.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not. You could do it up here for a lot less than that.
and it was basically like just a full day of like, I think they said you realistically could probably get, they said anywhere from 10 to 15 runs in the day. Like, so you basically, they'd fly you to somewhere, then you'd ski down, they'd pick you up, and you'd do it anywhere from 10 to 15 depending on how big your group was. And it was literally seven grand a person. I remember them that getting quoted that, and I was like, whatever, fuck that. Um, honestly, mostly not for the money, because some of the people that we were with were not good enough skiers to do that type of skiing. And honestly, I'm not even that fucking good. I'm more athletic than anything. Like I'll go skiing once a year. Um, I'm not a fucking person who goes skiing all the time. I literally live in a place where I'm just sitting here on my couch sweating my nuts off in the tropics 300 days out of the year. So I'm not skiing that often.
So what else is the mysterious Magoo doing other than flying off to Canada and going skiing casually?
Going to go to Greece this summer again. I was there last summer. I'm going to go back. I might actually fly my ass over to Cyprus as well. Um, Check that out a bit. I got a wedding in Greece in September, so I'm going to obviously go before that and do a little travanting around. Between that and coding and doing other shit, that's pretty much all I do in shit posting.
Well, you might not have to worry, but I feel like the travel thing is gonna get harder for a lot of people here all of a sudden.
Oh no, I made a comment earlier. Like last year, I flew to Greece, and first class tickets were 4K a pop for round trip. This year, they're like fucking 8.5. This is double, literally doubled. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think my brother flew like both ways to Japan for like $800, and I mean you'd pay 4 or 5 grand at least right now just to
Yeah,
get to Japan.
it is kind of crazy. When was that? I think it was. I don't know if it was 2024 or 2023. I think it might have been 2024. I went to um, Vietnam, and so I flew through Japan to get to Vietnam. And those tickets, this was like 2, 3 years ago now, but those tickets for first class to get to Vietnam were only like 4K a pop. I haven't looked at lately, but they're probably 10K a pop now. It's for first class. It's retarded. Just so I can go.
Vietnam was nice, right? Really good customer service.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I went to a bunch of places. I went to Hoi An. I've been to Saigon. I've been up in the mountains. I did a camping trip in Vietnam in the mountains in the caves. I went caving, spelunking. I didn't really
Wh-
spelunk, but I went to caves.
like tight stuff or one of the big chasms.
Big chasms, basically where
Okay,
you can.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go into any chasms. Fuck that. Um, but no, I went camping there. I forget the name of the city now, but it's literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. I had to drive like 4 fucking hours to get to the butt fuck nowhere so I could start my fucking like 50-kilometer hike. Um, but yeah, no, Vietnam's nice. It's really cheap. The food is really good. No matter where you go, every city has their different flavor. Whether you're in Saigon, that's kind of a fucking really American thing to call it, but or you're in Hoi An, or you're in any of the other like the Mekong's really nice to boat down. Um, it's nice. It's cheap. Food's good. It's fucking crazy. Like driving a fucking moped in Vietnam is an experience. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. We got a big we did Thailand and Vietnam. We wouldn't we had to do Cambodia with full escort, but we did Thailand and Vietnam on motorcycle, my wife and I. And yeah, it was the only problem was the rain, because like entire areas would get washed out in the rain season. But aside from just like flooded areas, everything was incredible. Everybody was nice, no problems at all. Amazing food on every corner.
The funniest thing is like there's so many Chinese people there. Like you have to fight Chinese people. It's kind of funny. Um,
Yeah, but people don't realize it's the lantern, the Chinese lantern, the red lantern outside the business, regardless of where you're traveling. That means it's a Chinese business, right? People don't realize that.
yeah, there was a lot of Chinese tourism in Vietnam. I actually had to like fight an army of Chinese people. There's what was it called? Some random fucking place that we drove by. I think it was called Marble Mountain or something. Some fucking gay ass name. And I remember there was like an elevator in it, and like it was literally like a fight. I had to fight these Chinese women, like literally like these 50-year-old Chinese women, to like who actually gets in the elevator. It was kind of wild. Um,
It's the China's the only country where people pushed my wife to get on a fucking elevator where there was enough room for everybody. Like the most aggressively shitty country, just
I know
people
it's a
pushing
what?
each
It
other
was getting in an elevator too. It's fucking hilarious. Um,
for no reason either. Just and you I would stand over these little women and stare them down in the elevator and be like, in any other country, but it's just normal there. They're just fuck sakes.
Yeah. Yeah, Vietnam's nice. I actually probably have to go back there in the next year or two for a wedding. I know someone there that I probably have to go to a wedding that they're probably going to get married. So I'll be back there probably. I have a couple other things that I want to do. there that I didn't do the first time, but I'll probably also head over to Thailand at that point as well. It's interesting, like on a map, like people think that like Southeast Asia is like so close together. Like it is, like Laos and Cambodia and like those countries that are right beside Vietnam are really close. But like people don't realize to fly from Japan to Vietnam, it's like a 5 hour flight. It's not a short flight. And then if you want to go to Bali after Vietnam, you're like, oh, that's probably right there. Nope, it's like another fucking 5 hour, 6 hour flight. It's,
Have you done Cambodia?
no, that's one of the places I want to go to.
So yes, do like a week and a half in Cambodia. Get a nice hotel with a driver, and uh, and then just get a moped or go fly into Chiang Mai and go to Big Bikes is the guy there. And he's got it's like one of the only places you can rent larger
Big
mopeds
bikes.
and
Big
motorcycles.
bikes.
Big Bikes, yeah. I'll find his name right now. Ron, I think it's Ron's Big
Ron,
Bikes.
I'm not going to get raped,
Yeah.
am I?
No, no, this is legit. But the problem is there's like three, four other guys that call them Ron's Big Bike, but his is on like the main road, and he's got all the big bikes. And so go see him and go get like an F800 or 700 or something. You have to do Thailand on a motorcycle, man. You can leave all your shit on the motorcycle all day. Nobody will touch it. You just, it's it can't be beat.
So what price do you think Stretch is going to go down to?
Oh my God. I still can't believe people buy into this shit. And he's out here pushing boomer AI memes. It like investment reels that someone made with AI. It's just, it's insane. How are people feeling comfortable investing in this?
I have no fucking idea. I really don't. No,
I mean, it feels toppy then, doesn't? Isn't everything kind of feel toppy right
yeah.
now?
Well, Bitcoin doesn't feel toppy, but when you look at the stock market, it looks fucking toppier than toppy itself.
I don't know. I think Bitcoin's as toppy as it's going to be for the next 3 months.
Oh no, it could go lower. Like I personally don't think the Bitcoin low is in. But like relatively, like even if Bitcoin goes from where it's now, like I don't even know what the price of Bitcoin is, like 60 something. It is 63,800. So
It was just 68.
yeah, was it 68 today?
It was 61, and then it was 68, and then it was 63 again. I mean, I think we're in. If it breaks 58, it's going straight. We're going like another 4 or 5K down the
Yeah, I
drain.
think if we do get to 58, I think the chances of seeing like low 50s are pretty high. But like given like percentage wise, going from 60K to 50K is only what? How many percentage drop is that? What is that? 14%?
Yeah, yeah, and that's it, and that's all it has to do from
Yeah.
here. It's not a
That's
lot.
what I mean. It's not a lot. Like so like in the grand scheme of things, like is Bitcoin going to drop another 50%? Probably not. Can it drop another 15%? Probably. Equity,
30,
I don't
maybe.
know if it gets that low. The only
Uh,
way it gets into the 40s if like the AI bubble is actually over and like the equities like roll over 30%. I,
don't you think some market maker somewhere is going to get the great idea that they should just get it under 40 as much as possible here? Like,
maybe.
why do we think that they want it over 100K? Where does this, just because all you retards want your Bitcoin to be worth 500K doesn't mean anyone actually buying large amounts of it wants it to go up.
Yeah, that's true. That's clearly been true, obviously. MicroStrategies was literally $450 a year ago. Oh my God. July of 2025, it got up to $450. And now we're at $116.
What do you make of all these Bitcoin companies becoming, um, I guess, AI companies?
Oh, the
Bitcoin mining
miners,
companies?
the miners.
Yeah, I'm very bearish on it, but some people seem like I think it's an investor scam, if you ask me.
I think they're just when they're dancing. The music's on, and so they're dancing, and so they're just trying to make as much money as they can. Whether they're ever going to be successful at running an AI data center, that's a different question, right? Are they going to scam retail investors into pumping up their stock? Yeah.
Yeah, how are they going to acquire equipment? How are these companies acquiring equipment at a reasonable ROI right now? They're buying equipment at ROI never prices.
Are you talking about like HS2 chips and shit, like from Nvidia?
Or just fucking hard drives, right? All of it is prohibitively expensive right now. How would you build a data center? How would you convert? Because your Bitcoin machines aren't data center capable. They don't do any data center shit. You have to take the Bitcoin racks
I
down
think
and put new equipment in.
I think the smart thing to do, and I have no insight into what any of these companies are doing, but the main thing that these Bitcoin companies have, or Bitcoin mining companies, they have power contracts that are in place. If they're able to partner with someone that can supply the other infrastructure, then they might be able to make a go at it. Because they have the inline power contracts and they have the, I'll call it a roof over their heads, where they can bring in another partner that brings in the chips and actually builds out the AI part, that then they might be able to be successful. But like, to think that a Bitcoin mining company that knows how to mine Bitcoin with ASICs is going to be able to buy AI infrastructure and AI stuff and put it in their buildings, I think that's a different story.
Yeah, no, it's a bullshit scam for the next 3 years. It never pans out because everything is unobtainium right now. But I mean, it's such a weird time because normally at this time in the cycle, the Bitcoin hardware is worth nothing, and the computer stuff is about the same because the altcoins have crashed, and so now all the GPUs that all these basement dwellers have been using are worthless, right? And we haven't seen that. It's the exact opposite of this scenario, and I just wonder how that's going to affect the chip demand, the memory demand, the die time demand, um, the centralization of a lot of that stuff right now. How is the Bitcoin hardware market gonna wear into the next bull cycle? Is it gonna? Are we gonna see a lot of new equipment? Are they gonna make money selling new equipment?
I don't know. I have not really been keeping an eye on Bitcoin mining because it's been basically a fucking sinkhole for basically over a year and a half now. How much are miners going for these days on the secondary?
For I mean, if you have power contracts, like you said, they'll give you the miners for free, right? No, miners are you can buy S9. People are selling S21s for hundreds of dollars.
So there's a massive discount then.
Yeah, and it's a massive discrepancy to the rest of the hardware market and at large. And how are they going to come out of that? Like, is die time and silicone and memory going to get cheaper all of a sudden?
No.
So I don't understand. How are they gonna build the S23s and the S25s?
That's a good question. I do not know.
So are we gonna short Bitmain or how do we do this?
I don't know if you, well, you can't short Bitmain, but let's see. Here I'm just looking. I haven't looked at mining costs in a long time. Like, it's in the toilet, but
It's in the toilet. Yeah, no, honestly, most productive miners are like 2% or 2 cents or less right now.
yeah. Let's see here. Na, 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 na. Yeah, they're fucked. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Like the price is not going to keep up with the hardware shortage and
Yeah.
squeeze. They're going to get squeezed before the hardware goes back. I, and there's a lot of people in the industry saying that hardware prices will never go back, that average consumers will never be able to afford a high-end CPU or a high-end GPU for at their home. We're all eternally going to have to rent our computers from Amazon. Like,
We are fucked.